Hello, everybody. Welcome back once again to SimRacingOnline.co.uk Championship, the IMSA series brought to you by Team. And we are today we're going to be streaming to you and providing you the live streaming of the race that is happening right as we speak. In fact, it didn't start yet. We're in the process of qualifying. So we will get to have some fun today. I'm joined, as always, by Lorenzo and Samir, and today Ricardo will not be in the commentary box. He will be driving. We will be racing today in Daytona, a track very known, a very old track. It's been established 64 years ago, and we will be racing now not in the oval, but in the road course, and specifically the 24-hour road course. In fact, the qualifying already started. We've got a lot of LMPs in contrary to the race we did before. We have 9, I believe, 10 LMPs, and we have, I believe, about I'm not would double check on that, about 16 GT3 cars or GTD if you want to call it. So indeed, that's a lot of drivers. So hopefully that should equal a lot of fun. And yeah, it's very interesting to see what's going to happen today because especially we have a man, as you're watching right now, Ricardo Riva, the man who's usually sitting here and giving you commentary in the commentary box with us. In fact, we're watching Carl Middleton. And something different about this qualification is that the qualification will be split. Each class will get 10 or 9 minutes. I believe there will be 9 because the qualification session is 20 minutes, so it'll be divided to 9 to give that 1 extra minute to get it out of the pit. So then, the LMP starts first, and they have about 9 minutes or so. And once they're done, they have to hit the escape, go back, and let the GTD go out. This still applies that you still cannot escape. If you escape one time, you cannot go back. If you go back to your pit box, you are allowed to go back, but within that 9 minutes. So this should make the field a little bit more easy to do your lap, and you're within your class, so you're not doing a lap and suddenly a LMP pop up out of your back and ruin your laps. So this should help the field do their best in qualifying, which will eliminate the excuse, as we say. And we're watching the man who won the last race, Tony Talviti, and if I'm not mistaken, Tanner Selvi is present. He's right now sitting in the provisionally pole. The man who had a lot of downs in the last race. In fact, he got the last position. So hopefully he gets to redeem himself this race. And so far, he's doing good. He's sitting in a P3, but I believe it's still... He's got about more 7 minutes to go. So a lot of rooms to improve indeed. As we're watching him right now.
And he's lapping a quickest first sector for Tanner Shelby around the road Atlanta in the LMP2 car. I'm pretty sure he's going to be one to watch, guys. Him and Talvice, and of course, Ricardo Rio in a 109.854 quickest lap time provisionally. Tanner Shelby now approaching the end of the second sector.
Indeed. I think he's going to improve on this lap. He's a little far.
Oh, no, that was not a good exit from the second to last corner. He lost quite a bit of ground there, as we see Phil Brown make way for Ricardo Riva to pass. Ricardo Riva improving on his previous effort by almost half a second in the first sector. He's not up to pace in the middle sector, but that's relative to himself, so that doesn't really count. Let's see how it does. It should be around 1.9. Yeah, it's a 109.4, quickest time by almost half a second compared to Tony Talvice in second place. We're watching then Tanner Selvi register a personal best first sector in sector 1, although he's 3/10 up already if we are comparing his time with Riva.
Ricardo Riva putting a name for himself right as he's joined the race. It's been a long time we haven't seen him doing a championship in SimRacingOnline, the one we broadcast. So it's good to see him back at the top.
Absolutely, and we are watching the Middleton brothers absolutely go at it. They are relatively P5 and P6 in the space of less than a tenth of a second between each other. So that's really cool to see. Probably a similar race pace as Tanner Selby, really on the edge, goes onto the grass and he starts his lap time now, but he aborts it immediately because that uh, jeopardizes his exit from the last corner. And of course, you need to nail the exit on the downhill section to maximize the speed on the straightaway.
Yeah, Daniel Selvy's trying to redeem himself from the rest race, and luckily enough, he got points, but those points are not going to do him well if he wants to secure the championship. So he's definitely trying to squeeze every bit of performance from his car, as we see Tony Talviti, the winner of the race, going for an outlap.
And it's cool to see that Riva is actually driving one of the Ligiers, but all pretty much the entirety of the LMP2 field is using the Orica chassis, which seems to be the meta in LMP2 class. Although if you maximize the Ligier, as we are watching Phil Brown, the second Ligier of the field, in currently standing in P4, and following Lewis Middleton, that's surely going to do nice on the straight because draft is very powerful around here. And what I was about to say is that the Ligier is worse in at low speed, so it's slower in first, second, and third gear, whereas the Orica makes the difference at low speed. Although the Ligier has a better top end and, generally speaking, more power to the engine, it might be the easier car to drive, but do not underestimate the Orica, especially with Tanner Selby and Tony Talvisha at the wheel.
And speaking of which, the Orica are sitting in P2 and P3. Ricardo still leading with the Ligier. And the Ligier is actually sandwiching the Orica with Phil Brown and the Ricardo. So it's a fierce battle between the top of the drivers in
Oh,
this
as we
race.
see a bit of mayhem there, Michael Labelle on the grass, he was probably making a bit of space for the quicker cars coming around him. It's weird to see that all the way from P7 to P9. That's a big gap between Harper and Rodriguez, the Portuguese driver. I don't think these guys are using the Le Mans package because that gap around a 1 minute track is a lot of time.
I mean, there isn't any regulation about that. I'm going to check the forum once again. So, so I've been told from my director that you can use anything you want. So you're free pretty much to do whatever suits you. And And it's also, I've been informed that this rule has been established in the DPI championship. And I don't know, to be honest, I don't know who's using who because I don't have any visual keys to tell the difference on who's using Le Mans and who's not. But maybe that extra speed can help you in the down straights. But when it comes to the corners and stability, especially at this section when you go down and go up, the car starts to destabilize a little bit. So you need that extra downforce at the back while you're turning in that corner right here. As you see right now, he goes a little bit wide. Actually, he doesn't. I mean, a little bit, but in the GTD, you go a little bit wide there, and you need the car to be as stable as possible. Ooh, great lap by Carl Middleton. Puts him in P1 ahead of Ricardo actually by 1/10. Very excellent lap. Gets 2 purple sectors and a personal best as Ricardo Riva tries to reply to that and is going for it. And I think this is his last lap if he wants to do anything. As Selvi doesn't have an answer, and I don't know if he's doing a lap right now, but right now we're watching Ricardo Riva doing his lap. I believe Tanner Selvi is not improving. He sticks to his P3 unless somebody texts for him, which is Telviti, who's right behind him. But Ricardo Riva is the man to watch right now. And he gets a purple sector on his sector 2, going downhill now, last corner, trying to cross that finish line, see if he secures that pole position. And he does secure the pole position, but getting 2 purple sectors indeed right at the end. I believe this is the end for LMP2. We see Tanner Selvi going for another lap, getting a personal best on his first sector, but not sure if that's... He can finish the lap from what I've been told. And let's see if this is where this is going to put him. We see a GTD already going out. That was a Ferrari. I believe that was Paolo Tempera. And Tony... Tony Talviti lifts for some reason and aborts his lap going now to the pit lane. And yeah, there's a I don't know what's happening because we see Talviti in P1. Something wrong with the server. I believe drivers are have been disconnected, so maybe they will rejoin. Yes, that is correct. We've had some disconnection with classic R Factor 2. So this has happened before, and it's a classic R Factor 2 experience. I mean, if you don't get bugs and crashes in R Factor 2, you're probably playing the wrong game. Not to bash the game, it's just it's becoming one of its qualities right now. As we watch Tony Talviti sits in his, I wouldn't even call it provisionally, I would call it imaginary pole position, which he could have been in today, but unfortunately, Ricardo Riva snaps that as we see cars going. That could have been. They were like they didn't know what to do there. But the GTD cars, I will see people are getting back to the server. The GTD cars are going back as we see this beautiful livery. Not sure whether that is stock or custom made, but that's indeed a beautiful livery on the colorway. As the AMG GT3 is getting driven by Gutierrez, the man who won the last race in Daytona. Actually, I made a mistake beginning the race because my mind was stuck and said it's a Daytona race. It is a Road Atlanta race, not a Daytona. So excuse me on that. And let's see Gutierrez. And I don't know what he's going to come up with this in this race, but we got a lot of competition. And yeah, Nick Newcomb was the man that really fought Johnny Gutierrez until the end. What happened in first and turn one? It seems like Nick Newcomb wasn't too happy about it. Let's see what his answer is going to be in Road Atlanta.
I think it was on the edge of being a very close battle between Johnny and Nick. Without that contact, I think we would have seen the battle rage on all the way until the end of the race, because Daytona is a track that allows you to use the draft and be close together with your competitors. But Nick Newcomb wasn't too happy about Johnny Gutierrez's driving style. There was a bit of contact at the horseshoe at Daytona, but I think overall it's in the past now, and I'm pretty sure the guys will be focused 100% on maximizing this race. As we see Kyle Graff, another sensation from Daytona, he was battling with John van der Gest all the way until pretty much the halfway mark. And then he had a big contact with the wall outside of the pit lane. Unfortunately for him, that was the end of the race. Yeah, I'm happy to see a lot of guys joining the GTD field. Riccardo Zampatti, currently in the pit lane. Nicola Puccino as well, good friends of ours from EITHA Racing Team. And also good to see Cartwright back in the game again. And of course, everybody else. Filippo Covolo, the rookie. Rizzo, Martin, all the guys. It's a pretty good field.
Could have been that he raced in BTCC. I am not sure either. We've been discussing my director. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but that could have been true. It is always good to have him, as we see Andreas Seibel going for his first lap. And the target time, as you see down there in the overlay, is 1:19. Not sure if that's a good lap. I don't have any reference on this track on the GT3 because I haven't driven here. I've never driven a. And for my intels, I get that 1:18. It should be a good lap. If it's gonna put you in the pole, that's not mine to answer, and that is the driver to answer. And the first one to say so is Cartwright. Puts a 1:18.1.
That's a hell of a lap. That's 1:18.1. That's a very good lap around Road Atlanta. These GTDs should target, beating the 1:18 mark. And I think that's gonna be the case with a couple guys Of course, Tempera was another very quick driver around Daytona in round one, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna confirm the trend in the race. Now, Nicola Puccino, what a great lap! Just 7 tenths shy of position in his first ever outing on Sim Racing Online, and what a way to show your name for the first time.
Speaking of names, we're missing Manuel Esteves, who's been having a great race last race until I cursed him enough that he crashed not once but twice, which led
Yeah,
him to
shout out to
DNF.
Manuel. Pretty much his first GT3 race in R Factor 2, and we are told that he will be back in round 3. Of course, round 3 will be held at Watkins Glen, if I'm not mistaken. I should double check that, but it's Watkins Glen, and of course, we're gonna broadcast the entire thing here on Eighth Racing Team on Twitch as we see Lord Martin. Finally, the deliveries are working well today. No more bugs as we see Riccardo Zampatti with his personal best effort, 119.4. That's a pretty solid effort for a rookie.
Absolutely. You come in and you put a lap like that, and people don't know your name. And we see a sideway action by VD Guest, the man himself. And as he gets right to the gravel right there and wants to go back again. But as I was saying, a rookie, whenever he comes and puts a lap as the VD Guest again, joins in while people doing the lap a little bit dangerous, realizes that, pulls out a little bit and tries to rejoin as Andrew Seibel comes in behind. And if I can speak about the rookie thing is that when you join a league, I mean, you pretty much should be called a rookie because people don't know you unless they know you elsewhere. But when you put up a time, people start to worrying a little bit about you. And good to see the BMW back again. I haven't seen a lot of it in the last race, I believe, because it lacks a little bit of top speed. As we see a lot of mayhem going on there.
I'll tell you what, Nas, the BMW is a great car for Road Atlanta. It's so stable and it really helps you in the changes of direction, especially in the first sector where you have all the S's going downhill, then back up. Also, the Mercedes looks to be a very quick car. We saw it winning in Daytona, and although it was suffering from a bit of, from a lack of top speed relative to the Porsche, for example, which is always a solid competitor, no matter where you go.
Speaking of the devil, Gutierrez with the
There we
Mercedes
see
puts
Gutierrez with the Mercedes putting the first ever lap under the 118 mark for this session, and what a great effort from Guti. There's a reason why he's the champion.
a multiple champion indeed. Gutierrez stamps his name and put it in the provisional polls with 2 minutes to go. And the threat he's got so far is Cartwright. He's right behind him, 1/10. So let's see what Cartwright can do with this 1 minute left. Not sure if he's on his lap. We'll get to see that soon. But so many cars, 17 cars, and that's not to include a lot of drivers that didn't show up. And so you can imagine how much crowded the track is and how difficult it is to get a clean lap. As we see Paulo Costa going up the hill, slides his way all the way up, losing that lap and getting a yellow sector, which means he didn't improve. And if you see a green, that means it's a personal best. And a purple, of course, the best of the best.
Paulo Tempera right on the edge in turn 6. Of course, the infamous turn 6 curb has to be harassed all the way. You need to lean the tires on the curb to maximize the time. And Paulo Tempera was doing just that. The Ferrari, of course, a bit untidy through there, but that's pretty normal. Tempera setting the third best lap time, just 6 tenths shy of Johnny Gutierrez's 117.9. It's great to see the field this busy. I haven't seen a huge field like this in a while now.
Oh yeah, this is putting a smile on my face. It's good to see because there's gonna be a lot of fights when you see these amount of drivers, and especially in this track. That when it gets crowded, you get a lot of action. Well, hopefully we don't get a lot of. I mean, I'm not foreshadowing, but hopefully we don't get rampage. We prefer to see clean, beautiful races, hot action filled. as we see this. Have you spotted, Lorenzo, any custom livery? That's what I'm trying to see. I think I
I
saw a
did,
colorway.
and this one, the one that we are watching from Nicola Puccino, I actually am the designer of that.
Oh,
Um, I,
Lorenzo.
I, I, I designed the BMW, and I'm pretty proud about it because I nailed the colors. If I'm honest,
I want you to.
I really like what I came up with. But I also saw Lorne Martin with a Martini livery, a classic Martini white, red and blue livery on his Ferrari 488. So that's great to see so many custom liveries being made. Of course, guys, if you want the best custom liveries ever just for you, be sure to check our Fiverr page. We have a livery production freelance service that goes all the way from $10 to $25 for custom services. And well, I'll let you do it if you want to have a look.
You definitely want to have a look because the gallery we have in Discord, make sure to check that out, is beautiful to see as we get to the end of qualifying. Gutierrez gets the pole. I don't think nobody's going to take away from him. And yeah, that is for sure, isn't it, Lorenzo?
Absolutely, and it's great to see. I'm really pleased with the content today. And let's have a look at the order in GTD class. Gutierrez then putting himself in pole position. Of course, we are starting from LMP2 cars. Ricardo Riva with a 109.2, then Carl Middleton, Tanner Selby, Tony Talvish, Phil Brown, Lewis Middleton beating his driver. His Carl Middleton, sorry, beating his brother by almost 1.5 seconds. So the gap opened up a bit there. Andrew Harper then in P7, Michael Abel in 8th place, Paulo Rodriguez surprisingly on the back foot, and Gil da Silva last but not least. Then we go to the GTD field with Johnny Gutierrez putting himself up into the pole position. Tim Cartwright with a great effort, just shy of Johnny's time. In second place, Paulo Tempera confirming his shape uh, in P3, Nicola Puccino, the great rookie on the BMW. P4, what a lap. Michele Rizzo then in P5 for Team Redline. Kyle Graff in P6, Robin Taylor in P7, Filippo Cogolo in P8, Riccardo Zampatti, the other BMW, teammate of Nicola Puccino, in P9, and Andreas Seibel in P10 with the McLaren. I am pretty sure we are 17 GTDs, so we are not able to see all the others in the order, but it's a great and busy field. We are going to see some action today.
I am counting on that. I'm putting my money on that to see the action that's going to happen today because it's been a while, like Lorenzo said, to see this. Look at the crowded 27
Yeah,
cars today.
it's gonna be tricky for the LMP2s to get around all these GT cars. I'll tell you that now, and it's gonna be, of course, tricky for the GTDs to then make way and avoid trouble in the during the lapping maneuver because this is a very narrow track if you think about it. And look at this, Paulo Rodriguez already having to back off the throttle behind one of the Mercedes. That should be Michele Rizzo, and it isn't Lewis Milton already trouble during the warm up. And we are about to speak with one of the drivers that is usually along with us uh, in the server and doing the commentary. That's Ricardo Riva. Ricardo, what is the, of course, congratulations for the pole position. That was a cracking effort. And what are
Yeah,
your sensations before the race?
yeah, that was a good lap. I mean, I missed. I made a mistake on the last corner. Otherwise, it would have done better. Since I got the pole, I mean, it's all right. Car's fast. I saw him making some good lap times as a race pace. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a difficult race, but it's fun to be behind the wheel again, guys. I like the commentary, but I like racing most. So that's quite that's quite
Yeah,
neat.
it's normal that you are competitive. I was curious about how did you hold your lap together? We saw many LMP2s not able to complete the effort. Tanner Selby, namely, was having trouble in the last corner. He was always on the edge of the grass and the gravel. So walk
Yeah,
us through your time lap.
Yeah, this track is tricky. You wanna guys make a ride with me? Maybe for one lap.
Oh yeah,
Right?
that's for sure.
I mean,
That
I
sounds
wouldn't.
Let's
sure.
switch to the onboard.
I'll never say no to that.
By
There
the
we
way, how
are.
you doing,
Then
guys?
on board with Ricardo.
I didn't
Ricardo,
ask you how you
go
doing.
ahead.
Okay, so
Oh, we're doing
coming
great.
coming down to the last chicane, which I made a mistake because I was overtaking. So, guys, here's a full lap with me around this track. Amazing track. I like that so much. So, flat out down here. Then we go to turn one, fourth gear, braking on where the tarmac is on the left. Try not to take the curb on the outside because yeah, it makes your car braking bad. Then braking down here, second gear, you have to hit the curb back there, and there we have a total flat out part. Sorry guys, we have some GT, but this part is totally flat out. Then braking down here, second gear, use the curb on the left, on the right, sorry. And then we have another big brake here, third gear, inside of the good Filippo, third gear, and then again, braking again, first gear, looking for the curb there, and looking for the curb on the outside, and then we have total flat out until last corner. The tricky part of this track is the blind brakings, because there's a couple of turns that are blind, so it's going to be hard. You have to be very brave here, braking on the 100 marker, hit the curb on the inside on the both, using the curb on the outside as much as you can, and then flat out again to close the lap. That's basically a race lap around this amazing track. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be difficult to keep the car on the track for 1.5 hours. Look at the curb on the outside, but I think I can do a pretty good job, and aiming at least for a podium today. Let's see if I can.
I won't
Well, of
push.
course, our wishes to you for a good and reckless race. Of course, we know how good you are, and well, Ricardo, thank you for the lab. That was an amazing and rare experience. You don't get to see that every day. And
Yeah, sorry.
once
I
again,
was a bit. I was a bit. I was not so precise during my lap, but
ah,
I
it's
was
fine.
concentrating on.
It really gives you an insight on how racing will be with all the GT cars and the traffic on the track. So thank
No,
you for that.
yeah, about that. Yeah, it's even hard to talk because this thing goes so fast. It's hard to keep talking and just use the mind to see whatever you are doing. So this is difficult as I speak. I'm missing the corner there, but anyway, guys, probably see you after the race. Oh, bit of
Ooh,
mistake there.
that's for the camera,
Great,
Ricardo.
great,
Yeah,
yeah, great car control there, Ricardo.
thank you, guys.
And well, we'll see you after the race, and have a good one.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Well, this was quite the ride, Nas. What do you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is I'm getting a lot of delights today. I mean, we've got a full grid. We've got to see an inboard and the driver himself talking to us. Couldn't ask of anything more.
That's beautiful, and we are lining up on the race track for the start of the formation lap. We are watching the GTD field. With that, let me just brag about my livery for a second there. But uh, I love the BMW livery, guys. It's one of my finest work I've done. But yeah, this is just what what I want
Um,
to. I don't like to brag about it, but oh, and there's what? Oh
a
no!
penalty for
Oh
Riva.
no!
Why?
Oh
Was it
no!
like
Commentator's curse again on
Oh
Ricardo.
no!
I am so sorry, man.
I
The
believe
game.
that's a game bug from. Uh oh. I mean, not sure if an admin can run a command, but you can do that from the your keyboard if it's closed to get the penalty out. But not sure if that's gonna happen today. So if we're going by what's happening right now, penalty will be served by Riva, and it's gonna put him all the way back. And when I say back, not just his class, but the other class too, which is have to make his way through, make a couple overtakes. He's got about an hour and a half to do it. Such what a shame. But it's this race didn't even start yet, so it's everything can happen. Other drivers could get a penalty, and the same thing we could apply for anyone else. So let's not get a bit depressed yet. It's a game mistake. It wasn't his fault, so there's nothing to regret about. And we have a long way to go for this race.
Absolutely, and of course, one 1.5 hours of pure racing, Ricardo will have time to make up for that. Of course, it's a shame, but it happens. It happened in the past, and it probably will happen again because it's a very common uh, bug in R Factor 2. We have seen that many times. The LMP2 field then making its way all the way to the final corner. Such a good track, this Road Atlanta. It was added to the IMSA calendar back in the 60s, if I remember correctly. Of course, we didn't use walls back then, and it's been in the IMSA calendar ever since. Of course, the IMSA is the modern championship. It was called the American GTP Championship back in the day. Many races held here, including I think the closest ever finish. Or I think I'm confusing with Road America actually, but
Yeah, that's Road
uh,
America. Yeah,
Road
because
America, the closest finish in IMSA history, less than 2 milliseconds, if I remember correctly.
yeah, I've seen that.
It was something crazy with the Nissan DPI, so it's a long time ago. There we go. Last corner coming up, and the LMP2s are just making their way to the grid. Ricardo will lead them, and he's serving the penalty as we speak. Of course, that's a smart move, but he's going to find himself all the way into the traffic. Then Carl Middleton will. Oh, what happened to Carl Middleton?
Like he DNF'd
Oh, DNF before the race. That's a shame.
as the race
Tony
starts.
Talvice. That's there's a massive disconnection going on. We are told the session will be restarted because there are some issues with the server. This is another R Factor 2 moment. We apologize for that, but nothing we can do about it. And well, that's twice the adrenaline. We're
Yeah.
gonna get two race starts. So
Here goes my second Red Bull.
I don't know
Um,
about you, Nas, but my heart is pounding right now. I'm
yeah,
eager to. I want to see. I want to see what happens in turn one. It's gonna be busy. I'll tell you that.
for sure. I mean, this is a opportunity where it seems like everybody is disconnected except us. So we're watching absolutely nobody. This is this is the desert of racing. This is the preview of what a track is like when nobody is around. It's a bunch of ghosts and dirts. We waiting for drivers to rejoin. Seems like the session is still in race. Some mayhem.
We are being told by our kind director that the session will be restarted completely, so we will get a clean restart with the correct order from qualifying. So do not worry, brace yourselves. You can get your beer now if you didn't take it before. You have time. Of course, get your slices of pizza and popcorn out because this is gonna be a fire race, guys.
Oh, absolutely. You don't want to miss anything. I mean, especially when it comes to pit stop, it actually shakes up the field pretty hard. I mean, remember what happened last race? The field got pretty shaken, and it made a lot of differences in the outcome. And with the amount of drivers and cars we have today, the strategy is going to play. I was going to ask Ricardo about it, but I didn't get the chance. That how much he going to pay to reveal his plan? But unfortunately, we'll have to ask him that in the next race to see if he is going to take part or not. I believe he is, especially if he gets to secure a good result.
Yeah, that's surely gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna play into the hands of Ricardo, and rightfully so. I mean, he got a penalty for the wrong reasons, and we are happy that the session is restarting. Road Atlanta 2022.
So yeah,
We
something
are told
happened.
that we needed to restart the server entirely, unfortunately. So that means we have lost the results from qualifying. We will have to wait until the admins sort out the issue, but don't
As we
worry,
see
we'll
floating
be right
cars.
back. Yeah,
Look
that's
at
a
them floating
floating.
cars.
Is that an LMP2?
That is a colorway. That is a hybrid GTP. So
That's
it's
a
the
GTP2. That's a new category.
yeah, the GTMP, a multiplayer GTD. I mean, there is a way to go around it that let everybody just start and everybody recovers his position, but that could create sort of a problem because people will want to overtake, people will want to wait. So, depending on how organized drivers are willing to be, it could go that way with letting everyone just recover their position without the need to edit the grid. But nonetheless, you can do it with the command, or if you have the server right within you, you can go ahead and start moving drivers. And once again, you gotta look at the live racers, see the results, and fix them up, which takes time. So don't go anywhere. You're not gonna fall asleep today. I promise you that. We've got a lot of action coming out your way, and you're gonna enjoy it if you're watching from Twitch right now. You're gonna have fun live. You get to see it first. And if you're watching from the VOD, hey there, leave us a comment, subscribe to our SimRacing Online YouTube channel, and hey, while you're at it, join the website as well. Get an account and start driving. Well, then, if we're gonna go to the qualifying results, we're gonna have to go to the live racers, and there is a section up there. So this is actually can be done by the viewers as well if you want to watch and get a specific insight. And right there, you can see the qualifying, which tells you everything. We've got Ricardo Riva first, Carl Middleton behind him, Tanner Selvi in P3, Tony Talviti P4, Phil Brown P5, Lewis Middleton P6, Andrew Harper P7, Michael Labelle P8, and Raul Rodriguez in the last position. And the Silva is right behind Rodriguez, so he will be the last position in P10. And if we go to our 17 GTD cars, obviously Gutierrez leading by followed by Cartwright and his BMW. And we got a Ferrari actually at 488 sitting in P3 by Paolo Tempera. And who actually was given a fight for Nick Newcomb last race in Daytona. And Nicola Paucino, hopefully I said that correctly, in the BMW GT3. Michael Rizzo and the DMG GT. I'm trying to be specific with the game. Cahill Graf and the Aston Martin, right behind Robin Taylor, Filippo Cogolo, Ricardo Zampati, Andrea Seibel, John Van der Gest, Rob Milliken, Barrett Erickson, Nick Newcomb, Mark Hightree, Lorne Martin, a name I hadn't seen before, Basha Patterson, I haven't seen that name before, and Ed Jones, a familiar name indeed. So there you go. That's all the drivers, familiar names. So it's a lot of drivers today to get a lot of action, but our factor 2 is saying no as we see drivers lining up already. So it seems like the grid has been fixed or is getting fixed because if they're lining up, that
I
means
don't think I don't think it's getting fixed because look at the LMP2s are mixed up with the GTD. I'm not sure what is happening. I'm pretty sure they're gonna try to fix the order as the race starts. Look at
yeah,
this. This is getting hectic.
yeah. This is something. This is a clip for the year. I would say a penalty for the Silva.
Yeah, because he jumped the start completely. He was rolling before the countdown had even started. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be the only one with a penalty. It's mayhem before the race has even started.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming. I mean, when you get a lot of drivers, you wanna get straight to the race with the least minimum trouble. But when you're doing it on R Factor 2, that is not how it usually goes. I
Ricardo
mean,
Riva then right there in second place currently, but he's going to take the lead. from the LMP2s. I'm pretty sure we might get a restart again. I don't know what the admins are thinking about. Um, yeah, there we see. Why isn't Ricardo taking the lead? I wonder.
That is actually weird.
Well, it did. They did take the lead, so the LMP2 field is okay, and we lost everyone again. I don't know what is happening, guys.
Well, I don't think this has ever happened before.
No, we haven't. I mean, we did see something like this happen in another server, which I'm not gonna name, otherwise they're gonna report me to the police.
Yeah, they're gonna break our
Um,
legs.
uh, but we did have a bad experience in one of the R Factor 2 championships, not here on Sim Racing Online because Sim Racing Online is the GOAT, but in another series where we were racing at the North Live, and we actually repeated the formation lap for about 4 times. And you can just imagine how long that must be on a 25-kilometer racetrack. Um, it was mayhem, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna get it fixed for this time.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's there's no way it's gonna continue like this. And I believe sometimes it's just a track. It's just it pretty much it's a complex game that it requires everything to be right, and that's just not ever gonna happen. I mean, no game runs perfectly, so the game wants everything to be perfect to run perfectly, which is not always the case, especially when you've got multiple drivers. And yeah, I'm sure we're gonna sort this out very, very soon. Stick with us as you get to see the chat right there. You can also see the chat in the live racers if you want to be have full insight. I mean, you've got multiple sources to watch this race the way you want. You can have the stream with us. You can have live racers right up. You can go through drivers if you have drivers you're a fan of. You can pretty much follow him through the whole race, see what he's doing, how much he pitted. Everything is provided right there. If you want to find the live racers, it's right there in the simracingonline.co.uk website. It's right there called Live Time In. As you click on it, you'll find the live racers. As we see cars completely clueless, I would say, of what's going to happen next. So are we. And I think it's best for everyone else to get a little bit, have a little bit of patience, and not jump through the start and just wait
Yeah, because
until.
if you move before the green light has gone, has appeared, you get a drive through automatically.
Yeah,
Um, so it's tricky. Somebody needs to get the password of the commands and then
yeah.
regroup pretty much.
Just a quick advice.
Everybody.
Hopefully, the password is not shared live there. So hopefully, it's sent privately. Hopefully, that's not the password. Hopefully, we get to cover the stream as we speak, and yes, we do. You didn't see anything. Look at me now. Look at me now. I'm the captain. You didn't see anything.
Look at me. Look at me. I'm the captain now.
I'm the captain now.
I'm the captain now.
So you didn't see anything. You bet you didn't. It was a dream. It was only just a dream. What you get to see now is action-packed race. So whatever you saw anyway wasn't anything. So you could go ahead and try it and try to troll, but it's not gonna work.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Dimitris, our good friend from the R Factor 1 days. You can try and rating this server, man. We haven't seen you in a while, so you could say hello.
That's a legend. The mythical Pokemon.
Oh man, what a creature!
So it seems like I don't know if our director has got the control to edit the grid, but if he does, he will let us know, and we will let you know, of course. Race is taking a long time to start. I think it's something is along the way, and we just have to wait to see what's going to happen in the race. Are we going to get a photo finish? Are we going to mayhem? Are we going to turn one roller coaster? What are we going to get? I don't know. So if you're seeing a black screen, that's obviously for something hiding something that you shouldn't be able to see. You shouldn't see.
Yeah, that's only for security reasons, guys. So please, we apologize for this issue, but there's nothing we can do about it at the moment. We are trying to help the race organizers to sort out the issue. We will be shortly back with the IMSA round 2 at Road Atlanta. Please be patient, and you will be not disappointed.
You will indeed be rewarded for your patience, because this race, like I said, we're looking forward to it as a commentary box with the amount of cars we have. It should provide you with what you're looking for. I mean, right now, if you have something to share with us, we're looking at the commentary of, or sorry, we're looking at the comment box of Twitch. So if you have anything in mind, make sure to tap that out. So what I'm getting is that gonna try one last time to see how this is gonna work, and if it doesn't work, we believe it's gonna be moved to the next week. So hopefully that doesn't happen. So there's so as we move to the race to see what's gonna happen, it seems like the race will be rescheduled in case this doesn't work. And I don't know if doesn't work, rescheduling how it's gonna fix anything. So to me personally, I would believe fixing the issue right here, right now, is the better solution, because if you're gonna just or hide it out and wait, I believe it's just not gonna do anything unless the track is changed. Because I believe it's also track related, as we see mixed cars for obvious reasons. We were waiting to
The
see what's.
GTDs are waiting, and though does Paulo Rodriguez got a penalty, that is not gonna be. That is not gonna solve anything. I think we might
No.
need to just accept that some drivers are getting penalties and some not,
Yeah.
and just get on with it. That's my idea.
Well, it seems like some because if you look down, it's a little bit of a downhill. I'm not speaking when you're going down. I'm speaking like because you go up, it's sort of a slop. You go up and you go down, and then you go up to the finish line. So that slight downhill, people like don't really take like carefully realize. So they start sliding backward a little bit, not realizing it because they don't hold the brake apparently, and it gives them a penalty. Unfortunately, I believe that's the ultimate case of why that penalty has been given. Now, that wouldn't explain why Riva got a penalty, but if you're at the GTD and sitting at the back, that would be the possible explanation.
There we see the GTD cars solving their position, trying to at least. Looks tidy to me. Not sure about if the order is completely correct, because of course I don't remember exactly all the 17 positions, but it looks to me as we might be racing. We might be starting the race now. We are watching the LMP2s now make their way to the last corner.
I'm noticing,
It
Lorenzo, that there is two of your liveries. Are they because they're not the same team?
they're actually there were supposed to be 3 fly liveries.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it's just 2 of them. The 2 BMWs. That's
Yes,
Riccardo Zanfatti and Nicola Fucino.
that's correct. I've seen two, and I was like,
The
I'm
dark
surprised.
blue and red
Yes.
BMWs.
I just want an M3 GTR from Most Wanted. I just want to see it once in the stream, and I'll just be the happiest man ever. So please go buy that livery. Please go ask for it.
Wouldn't be the first time of me doing a most wanted livery, but we'll see. There we see the LMP2s finally trying to start the race at Road Atlanta. We will be going green in a few seconds. Ricardo Riva will lead the field. We are racing at Road Atlanta as Ricardo Riva takes a huge leap towards the front of the field, and a bit of contact in the back between the blue LMP2s of Brown and Harper. Riva then protecting himself from Middleton as we see the GTD starting the race, and what a start from Middleton, already harassing Johnny Gutierrez into turn one, but Gutierrez has the better line up the inside and will retain the lead. Paulo Tempera then in P3 and Nicola Puccino in P4. So pretty much the order is confirmed, and we are racing at Road Atlanta. What a great field and what a great start for everybody. Riva then, half a second clear from Middleton, then it's Selby, then Middleton, then Talvice, Michael Labelle, then Brown, Harper, and Da Silva. Then is the GTD field with Johnny Gutierrez leading Cartwright, Tempera in third place, Puccino following closely in P4, and under attack from Rizzo in the yellow Mercedes, but Puccino protecting himself in a great manner. Then it's Taylor, then everybody else. What a great start.
I'm just happy the race started, didn't get rescheduled. Obviously, a lot of action. We see Michael Rizzo getting close to the bumper of that beautiful livery made by Lorenzo. Protects the inside, goes to the... And see what he's going to do from there. He probably try to go around the outside. Not sure if that's going to be right unless he jumps on the brake, but still can't get it right. What an absolute...
And great defense by Nicola Puccino.
That is correct. Is putting that livery...
Harper has spun out. Harper has spun out from the last corner. Harper was in the LMP2 battle for the top three. And what happened to Harper? He might have even damaged. Look at that. He's restarting now at race speed.
He is.
That's surely going to cost him valuable time because he now has to make his way past all the GTD cars.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Andrew Harper. Obviously, something has led him to that. It could be just a driver error, but mostly it could have been due to contact. And Carl Middleton try to puts his presence right there and show that he's right there and put the pressure on the Riva, I believe, is fighting. Indeed, he is fighting Riva. Or actually, he's protecting Selvi, if I'm mistaken. He's protecting Selvi because Riva look at Riva all the way up there, made a huge gap between him and Carl Middleton. So Carl Middleton now is protecting himself from Selvi, who the man that had a lot of issues last race. So this race, we get to see what's going to happen. I'm not going to say anything to not curse the man. And
who is Tempera? Tempera has made the move stick on Cartwright. Tempera in second place.
Wow, that is indeed great. And look at that. Probably was a great move because look at the gap that was made between him and Gutierrez. As we see, look at that too. Go into the first corner. It's a very fast corner. So if you got the inside, you probably got the best position to be in. But look at that. Try to go for the old switcheroo, but didn't seem to work because the amount of speed you carry there is just too high for you to do a switcheroo. So it seemed like that didn't work. And yeah, Nicola Paucini settles in right behind. And Gutierrez is right now ahead again in the lead with Cartwright behind.
Yeah, but he's battling with Paulo Tempera. Tempera is now...
Yeah, Cartwright and Tempera are indeed fighting. They're all within a second from Gutierrez. So it's a fierce battle for the P1 as Lewis Middleton right now sitting in P4 fighting his brother and try to make it as clean as possible. So hopefully a civil war doesn't erupt as this battle starts right now as we're watching it. It's actually started a while ago, but it should be a fierce battle between the brothers.
I want to watch Paulo Tempera, who is now 3/10 down on Gutierrez, but they're really close together in the GTD battle for the lead. The Mercedes under a lot of pressure from the Portuguese driver, right on the tail of the Mercedes. Look at this for a three-way battle because the BMW of Cartwright is right there.
Yeah, it's a close battle, and it's still very too early to judge if you get a lead that is going to be for the rest of the race. but getting a track position do matter right now because it plays through a lot as we see them going through this. They're coming up to that long straight where most of the opportunities could arise. As we see him watching that, it doesn't get a good exit right there. So I'm not sure if it's the split stream going to do him well to get that inside, as we see an LMP
Oh, as
there.
we see the LMP2 cars, that's Harper probably making his way past Tony Gutierrez and Paulo Tempera. These guys need to be careful because the LMP2 has a lot of braking power, way more than the GTD cars. And the BMW of Cartwright is officially in the fight for the lead. Look at that.
Yeah, that is good to see. I mean, we've got two cars fighting for the lead. Actually, three cars fighting for the lead. That is Cartwright, Tempera, and Gutierrez. And right behind them, Rizzo, Pochino, and Graf are all very close, as Robin Teller as well, and Ricardo. So many battles are going on right now.
Yeah, the GTD field doesn't disappoint. It's all bunched together. And I want to give a shout out to Nick Newcomb because he is holding what is a great P17 overall with the Porsche, which is not the car you want to drive around Road Atlanta because of its conformation. Of course, the Porsche has a lower Boxster engine all the way at the back of the car, and it really doesn't help you in the changes of direction. But here we see the LMP2 cars then already in the traffic. Look at this for a race. How many cars are those?
That is a lot of cars indeed. The LMP2 going from the outside there, actually breaking the racing line for that McLaren. Good to see a lot of variety of cars. I mean, obviously the Porsche isn't the car to go for, but it's a little bit of variety, which I'm happy about. But Nick Newcomb holding himself, like Lorenzo mentioned. He's sitting in a P9 right now. It's not too shabby. He obviously gets the points, but he could go a little bit up. He's 2 seconds behind. Not sure where he's going to go up from there, but he's got the strategy to play in him. As Selvi still within that 1.5 seconds from Ricardo. So Ricardo right now is sailing smooth ahead of Selvi, but Selvi is a man to watch for this race.
Yeah, Ricardo is not going to have it easy, I'll tell you that. And there we see the Ligier versus Orica battle, which everybody wants to see. Of course, the two LMP2 cars. You don't see a lot of Ligier LMP2 in real life nowadays. Most of the teams use Orica chassis, and before the hypercars were introduced as top class in IMSA, you had the Dallara DPIs. As we get a yellow flag in Sector 2, that might be Riccardo Zampatti out of the racetrack. I'm not sure what that car is. Yeah, that is Riccardo Zampatti, indeed, with what appears to be a damaged car. Ooh, he needs to be careful rejoining the track like that because people are coming through from the uphill section and are not able to see. It's the first race of Riccardo Zampatti's career. We hope, of course, he will be back next time. And Riccardo Zampatti then all the way to the back of the field right now. I'm pretty sure he collected some kind of damage from what was a nice P19 in class.
Yeah, such a...
Oh, Paulo Tempera is around!
Oh no!
Drama at the first corner. Paulo Tempera around and almost collecting damage from the cars behind him.
Wow, I think he didn't get no damage from that, so he should be very lucky.
Yeah, but then he's gonna be under pressure from Nicola Puccino. He will have made a mess of those tires. He will have flat spotted all four tires, and look at the BMW hounding on the Ferrari now.
I mean, he was trying to put all the pressure, trying to get that pole position, or sorry, the first position again, but it was too much, I believe, and a mistake eventually happened, which led him now to be in P4. So Puccino actually gets a shot to fight Tempera right now, and maybe if not, at least he gets that split stream to get closer to the field ahead, because of course Tempera is going to try his ways. Look at that, it's trying to get behind the split stream of the LMP cars to get as much speed as possible in this long straight. Yeah, and like we mentioned, the braking power of the LMP is too high, and it brakes in a very short distance compared to the GTD cars, so they have to be very careful, because you see there he couldn't make the turn because of the position that the LMP were there, and he couldn't just put his car where he wanted to. Is that an issue that drivers need to watch for?
Absolutely, and now Connor's Helvey then fell back all the way to P5. I'm pretty sure he made a mistake because he's now down in 5th place and 8 seconds from Riva. I think actually he's 8 seconds from the next car ahead of him, which is Tony Talvice. In the 4th place, he's now having to go around Nick Newcomb's Porsche. He may have got held up behind traffic in the first sector of the track.
So that goes and releases Ricardo to do whatever he wants with his strategy. I mean, I wouldn't say you can count the brothers, the Middleton brothers, because they're 2 seconds behind. So it could be that Riva is just selling or he just pushing all out. But it definitely takes a little bit of the pressure because he knows Selvi is now about 8 seconds behind. And Robin Taylor is having a fight with Graf right now. Very close to him, but it's a little bit hard to tell what's going to happen there because he's been fighting him for a long time now, and it doesn't seem as we see Ricardo Riva.
Ricardo Riva, the leader. What happened to him?
And
he was leading the race. He lost completely the rear end of the car. That's gonna be game over for Ricardo Riva if he's not careful. He needs to go slowly around the track to try and get to the pit lane and fix damage. That's gonna be a huge danger on the track. Yellow flags are out on the racetrack in first sector. Oh man.
Wow.
He must have got around in turn 1 and collected damage on the outside. The Middleton brothers are 1 and 2 in the race. Drama at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, so I've been told that he spun in turn 1 and just lost it, and the rear end, he lost the rear wing. So let's see what when he goes to the pit, if he's able to go there, and hopefully he can. Let's see what he's going to be able to get out with, because when they fix your car, they don't completely fix it, and that also takes a long time. Very, very unfortunate to see what happens to Ricardo. And Middleton right now, well, they're doubling down on that P1. It seems like the Middleton brothers are not finding out this time. Because they started finding out. Look at that, the Ferrari getting on the inside right there. Mikel Rizzo having nothing to say about that. Just let him sail through as the LMP cars go right there. So that has the Ferrari doesn't know it's there. It's flashing his lights. The Mercedes as well gets right next to it. This is very close, very dangerous, and actually builds a space between the two cars. So it helps the Ferrari right there. Mikel Rizzo doesn't get the benefit from that as we see Ricardo Riva go into the pit lane trying to fix his car. So we can start seeing the countdown. It's going all the way 6, 7, 10 seconds. It's going to take a long time to fix that rear wing.
It's going to take a couple of minutes at least because that was a big damage to the rear end of the car. Riva is so fortunate to not lose a tire in that incident. And I am watching Rizzo now close together with Tempera. Tempera was able to make his way back to second place in GTD class. So that tells you how the Ferrari is working well. Tempera might be able to cut the gap down progressively towards Gutierrez, as that Corvette has a custom livery. I think that is another custom livery, as that BMW needs to be careful there.
Oh my God.
I think that might be Puccino. Yeah, that's Puccino in the BMW M4. Got a bit out of shape before the chicane, probably under braking.
Yeah, that was very dangerous. I think he just couldn't stop the car, and the
Corvette, as we speak, the Corvette is not able to stop the car itself, and loses 2 positions during that maneuver.
Wow, so the brake temperature is playing a big role around. It looks like they can't stop the car for some reason, or they could be missing their braking point, but the car just isn't stopping, as we see Puccino now going up the hill, and getting away from what was the battle that's been happening right there. And Ricardo Riva now is losing a lot of positions, is now all the way behind the GT cars. As we see a bit of dirt, I saw it there on the background. Not sure who was that. Hopefully nothing too bad. because we didn't get a yellow, so hopefully it wasn't nothing too bad. And right there, we see Filippo Cogolo now protecting his way from, I believe, it's an Aston Martin.
Yeah, that is John Vidiguest in the Aston Martin. I was watching now the front brakes of the GTDs. They were all glowing red as they came down towards the final chicane. So brake temperatures are surely critical. As we see another gray livery on the BMW, on Rob
Wow.
Milliken's BMW. That's probably that might be Gil da Silva's livery, if I remember. I think it was Gil who was making the liveries for the Esfero guys. But if you want the best custom liveries, please check Aether Racing Design on Fiverr. We have freelance livery design services for as low as $10, and you will get an exclusive offer for SRO members. And we see a stationary Aston Martin there in the background. Not sure who that is, but there's a stationary car on the track.
It is indeed, and I'm surprised it didn't rise a yellow flag.
There are no yellow flags shown. That's John Vidiguest retiring from the race. What happened to John?
Wow, I would like to know. It seems like his was behind the Ogolo. He was behind.
He might have spun. He might have spun from turn 8, which is the corner before the straight, and then probably impacted the wall. Of course, heavy damage to the Aston Martin.
And, as we speak, there's a fierce battle going on now for P7. I would say P6, because Tim Cartwright, Robin Taylor, Nick Newcomb, and Filippo Cogolo are all close. Look at that.
Scary. That's one of the Ligiers. That's not Ricardo. I think that might be Ricardo Riva, actually. I think the overlays are bugged out because Ricardo Riva got out of the pits a couple laps ago, and he's now back on the track and making progress. That was Ricardo Riva taking a huge risk, passing Robert Taylor in the GTD class.
I mean, he's got nothing to lose right now because he's been thrown all the way back, so he's pushing all out. Hopefully, it doesn't end with what happened first. We see a bunch of cars right there.
A lot of confusion right now on the track as we see Nicola Cucino in P14 overall, trying to follow Kyle Graf in Aston Martin, now in P12. That's the grey Aston Martin that we saw battling with John Vidiguest in round 1. Kyle Graf, a very quick driver. That P12 overall is actually P4 in GTD class, so that's a huge result, of course, if he manages to keep it on the track.
If and if only, and surely he will. I mean, it gets a lot. Keep in mind, this is an endurance race. It's not a sprint. It might look like a sprint, but when you got pit stops, it's an endurance. As we see, Carl Middleton right now.
The LMP2 leader making his way past Paolo Tempera in the Ferrari, and that is Nick Newcomb making a mistake in the Porsche. Nick Newcomb really on the back foot today. The Porsche is not working properly. This, as I said, is not really a track that suits the Porsche pretty well. Porsche is a very weird car. It oversteers at the exit of corners, but it understeers at entry. So it's really difficult to set it up properly. As we see Johnny Gutierrez leading the GTD field, but Johnny will not have it easy because, guys, as I said before, Paulo Tempera is cutting the gap down lap after lap. He's now 3.5 seconds behind Johnny and closing the gap.
And Carl Middleton is in the pit, or sorry, Lewis Middleton is in the pit. Carl Middleton is actually leading. And Ricardo Riva now only one GTD car, which is Gutierrez, and then he's back at the lead as his own class to race. So we're down now to Andrew Hopper as well is trying to make his way. Still can overtake some cars, but he lost his position early ago in the start of the race. as I believe that is Ricardo Riva indeed.
As we get a yellow flag in the first sector. It's unclear why that is, but I'm pretty sure. Oh, that's Team Cartwright.
Yeah,
That's a great shame. Team Cartwright
DNF.
DNFing from the race. He probably made a mistake and collected damage in the first sector. So that turn one is really unforgiving, guys. It's been the third time that we have lost a car because of a spin in turn one. These cars have tremendous top speed, and it's really a challenge to slow the cars down into the first braking area. The one we are watching right now, it's a tricky corner, very narrow, and it narrows out as we go up the hill. So it's a very difficult circuit, Road Atlanta. It may not seem like a difficult track to approach, but it is.
Yeah, I remember setting up a car here. It was for R Factor One, I believe. It was a nightmare to set up because you've got a long straight, and then you've got those twisty corners that goes up and down, which, like I said, destabilize the car. And it's very tricky to get it right set up, like Ricardo mentioned, where he was showing us a lap, as we see.
Ooh,
Oh,
Tempera making a
Tempera,
mistake.
he makes
And
a mistake.
Rizzo saying thank you very much. Rizzo has been quietly making progress and is now second place in GTD field. Killer Rizzo, what a great race he's had so far, and that's 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 great to see, really. And the overlays are bugged out once again because Lewis Middleton is not in the pit lane. Um, The order in LMP2 is completely shaked from what it was in qualifying, as we see Lewis Middleton then overtaking Ferrari of Lorne Martin. Lewis Middleton is now followed closely by Ricardo Riva, who is absolutely furious for what happened at the beginning of the race and making a good progress. Riva is now challenging for P7. And there's a yellow flag in Sector 1 again.
Yeah, Sector 1 has been the most difficult one to say. I mean, I could be Robin Taylor right here, as he's fighting for that P6.
Robin Taylor probably lost a bit of time. He went wide. Uh, the first or second corner, even, is now followed closely by Nick Newcomb's Porsche.
Yeah, he's steadily making his way up. Nick Newcomb, better watch out for him. Robin Taylor as well. Nick Newcomb earlier was sitting in P9. Now he's made up two positions, and he's now fighting for that P6.
I think that Rizzo and Tempera, what those guys need to do is work together and not lose a lot of time between each other and try to work their way up towards Johnny Gutierrez in P1.
Indeed, as we
As
see Riva.
Riva
Wow.
are really on the edge. This is a direct battle between a Lige and an Orica, but Ricardo really needs to be careful. He does not want to make the same mistake once again. We are on board with the Lige now. It's a lot of top speed the Lige has compared to the Orica, but the Orica really delivers at low speed as Middleton gets a bit out of shape, but he's able to get away with it as we approach turn 9.
They get a little bit of traffic right here, so let's see if this is going to play in the hand of Ricardo. He gets close. Look at the speed.
Yeah, the speed of the Lige is crazy, and Ricardo with the late move down the inside. And
Wow.
what a great overtake maneuver from Ricardo Riva, a bit of oversteer at the exit, but the Orica, again, under acceleration, is the car to beat, but Ricardo just closes the door. What a great maneuver by Ricardo.
He just went for it, couldn't just wait because, yeah, what would you wait? Just go for it, take that if you see it. Because look at you saw that speed that he was coming from that straight. It was godly. It was, I believe that was more than 10-kilometer difference of speed. Very interesting to see. As Lewis Middleton right now did his pit stop, but Ricardo, keep in mind, the pit stop he did to fix his car, and I don't know if he messed up with his strategy, but it's interesting to see what's going to happen when he pits once again, if he is, and I believe he has to because the maximum, if I'm not mistaken, is about half an hour for that reservoir before it completely runs out.
Yeah, of course, the Lige with 100 liters as well as the Orica, and it's really gonna be a mysterious point uh, between all the LMP2s, because we have seen many cars going into the pit lane in the early stages of the race, so that mixed up all the strategies, and it's really going to be a challenge for Middleton to try and figure out what the competitors are going to do, as we watch Phil Brown in a solid P5 in the Ligier. He's had a quiet race, one of the few LMP2s that has a traveled less race so far. He's approaching Michael Labelle in front of him, who has been held up by the battle between Robin Taylor and Nick Newcomb.
Yeah, Nick Newcomb, by the way, got the position from Robin Taylor and sitting now in P6.
That's true. We missed that. Nick Newcomb up into P6 in GTD class. Great race by Nick. He was on the back foot in qualifying, but is currently making his way up the field.
Yeah, slowly but surely, he's gonna find his way definitely in the top 5 for sure. He's now about 3 seconds behind, not too far to get extra points for sure. As he's rocking I believe that's a custom livery too, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. This is the battle between Paolo Tempera and Michele Rizzo for P2 and P3 respectively. They are slower than Johnny Gutierrez at the moment, as we get a yellow flag in Sector 3.
And
That's Lewis Middleton.
Wow.
Lewis Middleton around in the last corner is backing up the car and making his way back onto the tarmac. I don't think he has damage.
Yeah, that's a driver error, I believe. He just lost the car there. They're so easy to lose control. I believe the tires just wears out without letting the driver know what's going to happen next. And I believe it's been it could be the tires, it could be something else, it could be the fuel that making the car a little bit way less, and it's just easy to lose the back. But yeah, if you're not driving, it's really hard to tell unless you hear from the driver. So we hopefully get to hear from someone. The fight is still going on between Rizzo and Tempera. Hopefully they're working together, as Lawrence just said. But if they do that, they're gonna get closer and closer to Gutierrez. But Gutierrez still leading the race and leading the championship eventually.
That is very true, and of course he's going to take a long leap because Nick Newcomb was the closest competitor last time around in Daytona, and he's down in P6. So Johnny really showing why he was the champion for the last 2 seasons in the GT class. Oh, as Michele Rizzo got a real run on Tempera out of turn 6. He has to maximize the exit from the 2 right-handers. Right after that, we switched to Kyle Graf in the Aston Martin, but Michele Rizzo really hounding the Ferrari down for that P2, but that's not gonna be working for those guys because they're losing time constantly, about 3/10 per lap towards Johnny Gutierrez. Yellow flag in Sector 2 as we speak. That's Filippo Cogolo. Filippo Cogolo spun in Sector 2. He lost quite a bit of places. Is now down into P11 in class.
Yeah, and a lot of battles are going on right now. Cogolo has been doing great, but lost that position. That doesn't mean he's out of fight because he's got so many cars that he's now. Patterson is right behind Cogolo right now.
Filippo Cogolo then protecting himself from the American driver Pasha Patterson in the McLaren. The McLaren has been probably the least competitive car for now in the first and second race. We didn't see a McLaren in the top spots at Daytona pretty much ever. Although Pasha was in P6 at some stage, he's now down all the way to P12 in class, so that's not where he wants to be, as Gil da Silva is another LMP2 who goes into the pit lane, and I think that is the first actually scheduled pit stop that we have seen.
That is true, because the most pit stops beside Carl Middleton, who pitted early. So the Silva is the one who's pitting in line with the strategy, from what I've been told, as we cross the 1 hour mark.
A lot has happened in the first half an hour, and we are just 1/3 into the race. This is getting very, very nice indeed. And what I wanted to point out earlier is that the GTD cars have a capacity of almost 1 hour of fuel consumption, whereas the LMP2s are, of course, they are prototypes, so they have a smaller, uh, tank, and of course higher fuel consumption due to the fact that they are more powerful and quicker, and they can last up to 35, 36 minutes at best.
Yeah, so definitely there are a lot of people are getting ready to do their pits, including Carl Middleton. And Talviti is actually not too far behind, 12 seconds with 58 minutes to go, and everything can happen.
Yeah, and Michael Labelle into the pits as we speak.
There goes Michael Bell.
That is Ricardo Riva in P6. I wonder how his strategy will play out, because 35 minutes of fuel means that most of the LMP2 guys will be doing a second stop in the last half an hour of the race.
Which will force Ricardo to pit when there's like about 15 minutes to go in the race, which is not going to be very handy when it comes to that. Because he's got.
It might. Yes, it might have a chance, because as Tanner Selby, the one of the guys who is up for the win in LMP2, is in the pits. Ricardo might have a chance if he manages to get an extra 2 or 3 laps in this very stint, because then it will need less fuel management in the latter stages of the race. So that might give him the upper hand to try and force a move on the guys in front of him at the end of the race. But he needs to be on it. He needs to maximize every corner, every lap. It's hammer time for Ricardo Riva from here to the finish.
Yeah, I mean,
Tanner Selby then, sorry to cut you off, Tanner Selby then out of the pits with a very quick stop compared to the others. He cut the gap down to 6 seconds from Phil Brown. Of course, the gap offsetting a little bit as Tanner got out of the pit lane. The Turkish driver really seems to like the LMP2.
Yeah, he's definitely sinking with that car really well. And look at that, they're going so wide there.
Going around and into the wall.
Incredible.
Oh no. He had just got out of the pit lane, and that's gonna be a DNF for Michael Lavelli if he's not careful to rejoin the track. He's gonna have to wait until the track is completely clear, because that's a very high speed section. Manages to do so, and he's back on the tarmac, but that is gonna cost him dearly because he had just made the pit stop.
Yeah, that's gonna be very bad for LaBelle, because I think he didn't expect that. He touched the apex there, and I believe his rear tire slightly got stuck within that edge of the apex on the outside, which just unsettled the car, and just he lost control. He couldn't control it really well because of the high speed. But Ricardo Riva right now is selling his way, trying to recover as much time as possible. I mean, of course,
Yeah,
he's aiming.
that mistake puts Michael Labelle under pressure of Ricardo. Yeah, Ricardo is now less than 2 seconds behind Michael.
And getting closer and closer. But Carr Middleton and Tony Talviti are sitting comfortably right now. Not sure what they're expecting the strategy is going to have.
Yeah, long gap behind Tony.
Indeed. Phil Brown doing really great in this race, sitting in a podium place.
Third place. That's a great show for Phil Brown. Absolutely.
Seems like Tanner Selby just couldn't get it right this race, and he's just settling for P4 right now as the race goes through.
Another close battle is unfolding between Filippo Cogolo and Barrett Eriksson and Pasha Patterson. That's a three-way battle for GTD top 10. That's in the last places of the grid, but nonetheless, it's the top 10 finish in GTD class, so that gives you the picture as Ricardo Riva is making the move on Michael Lavelle, or at least trying to use the traffic very smartly indeed. Diver on the inside, but Michael Lavelle just smashes the door and manages to survive for another corner, but the speed of the Ligier is just unbearable for the Orca at this stage.
Yeah, let's see what he's gonna do. Look already building up the speed. I don't think the split stream was already playing effect. Gets through the right, interestingly. Not sure how he's gonna pull that out because he knows for sure the speed is too high, which look at that. It didn't even need to outbrake him. All he had to do was slam the throttle, and it worked out perfectly.
Absolutely, and Ricardo Riva, look at the oversteer from the Ligier. Ricardo Riva unleashing the full 730 horsepower of the engine of that Ligier. That's of course one of the prototypes, which a lot of these prototypes produce a lot of downforce, but they are the most powerful prototypes pretty much ever, since the LMP1s do not exist anymore. Ricardo Riva then in P5 as the race leader. Carl Middleton pits alongside Tony Talvice. That's crucial for the race.
Very crucial. We get to see where they're going to drop out. This is also crucial for Ricardo Riva, who wants to see where this is going to be putting him in the end of the race, because it's provisionally where he will be unless he continue putting laps, great laps, and getting closer and closer. And Nicola Paucino in the beautiful livery made by Lorenzo, sitting in a P5 right now. And Michael Rizzo in a podium place, which is great result for Michael Rizzo, as we see Tempera right there losing it, going to the gravel. Once again, Tempera loses that position. The same mistake happens again, but in a different place. What's going on with Tempera today?
Yeah, it was so lucky to not collect damage. That's the second time in a row that he got lucky. I think he needs to be careful. The Ferrari looks to be very strong indeed, but Tempera just slightly over the edge, and that gives you just enough to make a mistake. The yellow flag in sector 1 is out. Don't know why. That might be Andreas Seibel.
Oh, I've seen
out.
Yeah, I've seen a car looking.
Yeah, that's a McLaren. He got stuck on the curb as he got out of turn 1. Turn 1 has been the killer today, guys.
Oh yeah, indeed. That is very difficult to make. And like this section, sector 1, it's just a killer. Especially this spot right here with going up and turning, or turn 1 specifically. It's very high speed than I believe turn 4. As we see Patterson having a fight again with Ericsson in P11.
We are watching Tanner Salvi in third place in LMP2 class, 2.4 seconds clear from the Phil Brown in 2. On board with Tanner with that beautiful blue livery. Look at how the LMP2s need to take a cleaner line compared to the GTDs. The GTDs can really be aggressive on the curves, whereas the LMP2s are stiffer and need to take a more conservative line through the S's. Nicola Puccino and Nick Newcomb were going at it, and I think Nicola got the worst.
Oh, a big crash. Look at the back there. What happened? So Cargraph lost the track and just shattered his car.
That's the second time. That's the second time Cargraph has been involved in a big crash during the race. He was stationary on the track, and fortunately for Nicola Puccino, he couldn't do anything about it and completely shunted into the Aston Martin. That is such a shame for Nicola. He was doing a great job in what was probably a solid points finishing position in GTD. Such a shame for Nicola. We are trying to rewind the tape and
look,
check and see what happened.
look at
Oh
the
yeah, look
tire.
at that. I think one of the LMP. Oh, that's a huge accident. I think one of the
Yeah.
LMP2s might have been involved.
Let's see. Oh
Oh
my
no,
God.
what was Kyle doing? Oh my
Oh
god.
Lord.
And that's an instant DNF for Puccino. He lost the 2 tires
Yeah.
during
Oh
that.
look,
And
someone else there, an LMP
that's
car.
Michael. That's Michael Labelle. That's Michael Labelle.
Oh my God. Oh, very close again with an BMW.
Incredible stuff.
Lord, that was just a bit careless
That's
by
a
that
triple
Aston.
DNF. A triple DNF for the GTD class. Nicola Puccino, Kyle Graff, and Edward Jones all out of the race due to that incident. That will surely be a penalty to Kyle Graff. I am sorry to say that, Kyle, but that was outrageous. You do not stop on the track like that. You at least get out of the way first and then find a place, a safe place, to stop. That's not what we wanted to see, unfortunately, for Ed Jones and Nicola. But it is what it is. Racing can be cruel, and it was cruel here at Road Atlanta. If you want to be part of the spectacle, guys, please check simracingonline.co.uk, where you will find many championships going on, including this, the IMSA 2023 championship. This is round 2. We will be back racing here at Watkins Glen in the USA, New York State. Big shout out to Will Caligari, good friends from that area, in 2 weeks' time.
And Lewis Middleton, I see he is in the pit.
Lewis Milton getting into the pit lane. That's the second stop for Lewis, I think.
He is indeed in the pit. So many positions have been lost and DNF'd. And it leaves us with about 11 cars, with Martin all the way at the end, who still has to go through 2 DNF cars to get. There you go. He goes through Colgraph, and there he is. It's officially in P11. As we see a scramble, Ricardo Riva with the GT class. I wonder what happened.
What is happening? That is turn 1 again.
Wow, that's a dangerous race.
What happened? The Mercedes. Oh, the Mercedes cutting Ricardo off in a slight contact between the two of them. That should not bring too much damage to any of those cars, but the GTD cars are dangerous, I would say, in turn 1, because these are blind corners, and the LMP2s are very, very quicker rather than the GTD field. So it's really a tricky situation to deal with, as we see Ricardo is now P4, and a battle to watch, which I missed completely, is Tanner Salvi and Tony Talviti. That's the battle for P2 and P4 in class.
Yeah, that is indeed a battle.
P3, sorry.
Yeah, it's been going on now. Yeah, great, absolutely. You love to see that. And Melican is in the pit for P10, but that's not gonna make any difference. Maybe Martin gets a position. I believe he's too far to get it, but nonetheless, great battle to see for the P2, or sorry, P3. And their Selvi is closer to Tony Talviti, and getting closer and closer, trying to make his way and get to see what he can do when he gets closer, because as you see, these cars require very precise control if you don't want to spin out, as what happened to many other drivers. So Tanner Selvi is a mission now to get Talviti at least get close. It seems like he's losing time, but somehow he recovers it. I believe in the straight line. He's probably running a different.
That is correct. That is correct. That is absolutely correct. That's a weird situation. It's really tough to explain that, but Tony needs to keep it up, because Tanner Selby will not make it easy for him, as we get yet another yellow flag in Sector 1.
Wow. I lost count.
That might be Ricardo. That might be Ricardo Riva.
It might be he's losing time. Look at that.
He is. He is losing
Once
time.
again, he might DNF. Oh
Oh,
my
oh no.
lord!
Oh, what happened?
Wow! Just Martin was spun out and couldn't was he should have been on the brakes. If we can go back once again to see if his tires were
Yeah,
stopped.
look, he got many cars involved in that because Ricardo was just one of them. Behind
Yeah,
them,
so look at that.
cars were battling.
He let off the brake right here. He let off the brake. Car starts slowly rolling backward, and boom, hits Ricardo. That's a big mistake that happens from drivers that
Yeah, but
are.
look behind Ricardo because
Uh,
3 or 4 cars were coming on uh,
I w-
all together. So that
yeah,
might have been even more mayhem.
we need the onboard of that GT car, Martin car, to see what happened behind him.
And that's a DNF for Ricardo Riva. Such a shame.
Yeah, such a it wasn't his fault because I mean, what are you gonna do right here? Because look at that. You see the brake marks? The moment they disappeared, that means he let off the brakes. And look at that. Look at the mayhem behind. Look at it. And he's still stuck. I mean, what he's gonna do right there? Go to the left. He's pretty much stuck as well. He put himself in a very bad situation right there. Very, very unfortunate, and hopefully a mistake to learn because we've seen this many, many times where drivers forget to stay on the brake because your car starts rolling and you don't know where it's gonna end. So all you gotta do is stay on the brake unless your car is rolling in the air. That's where you're gonna have to brace yourself and duck down. But if your car is still 4 tires touching the ground, stay on the brakes, never let go. Actually, that
Yellow
mistake.
flag in sector 2. Sorry to cut you off there, Nast. We are getting all sorts of crashes. In and we're barely halfway into the race.
I mean, we've got 40 minutes to go.
Well, it's tough for me to say this, but we have an extra commentator joining the chat.
No, I don't think I'll be stopping because I'm a bit sad now. So I'll just say a couple of things and then I'll be going because I'm damn angry. First of all, I want to apologize to Michele Ritz and Bart Eriksson. Just made a couple of bad entries on them in a rush to regain some places. So that's my bad. Not much to say about anything else, to be honest. Bit upset because the mistake at turn one, I wasn't even pushing. I was just managing the tires, so I didn't understand why I had that mistake. But that's it. I mean, some racing happens. Looking forward to Watkins Glen at the moment.
Wow, Tanner Selby gets a DNF.
No. That's Tony Talvice, not Tanner Selby.
So, anyway, guys, sorry not to be stopping because I'm a bit upset. Hope the race gets best by the end. See you probably at Watkins Glen, guys. See you probably at Watkins Glen, guys. Bye bye.
Absolutely, Ricardo. We're very unfortunate that what happened to him today. Hopefully, we get to see him again in the next race. We appreciate him joining us, giving us a vision of what happened there. Very unfortunate. None of his. It wasn't his mistake at the end, right there specifically. But yeah, we get to see now Tanner Selby. I believe that's just unlapping himself from I believe Andrew Harper, or could be Michael Labelle. But that wasn't a fight. He was just going through the blue flag right there. And yeah, once again, we're very unfortunate what happened to Ricardo. I mean, he got the pole, he did everything right, but it just didn't go his way. This is racing, and things happen. And we hope to see him again uh, in racing once again, or in the commentary boxes. He's always welcome to be whatever he feels comfortable. But hopefully in the racing side, so he can still redeem himself. But if he doesn't feel it, you'll get to see him once again in our commentary box. And yeah, going back to Tanner Selby, Tony Talviti got a DNF. Wow. Something I didn't see that coming because he was steadily, he was actually sitting in P2 and Tanner Selby had to chase him down. And unfortunately, he got a DNF. I'm not sure why did he get that DNF. We didn't get to see the replay, but very unfortunate that happened too. This race has been filled with drama. And the DNFs right now are becoming. I mean, look at the overlay right there to the left. So many DNFs that happened due to driver errors, mistakes, cars stop in the middle of the track, and so on. It's a very hectic race. I mean, we've got 40 minutes to go. So keep in mind, a lot of things can happen. So any position you are in, it's definitely not granted. Well, unless your name is Johnny Gutierrez, of course. The man has been leading the race 36 minutes, 36 seconds ahead of Nick Newcomb, which the man of the race that we need to speak about, made so many positions. And it could be also because
Yeah,
it's
driver of the day so far, Nick Newcomb by far. Started all the way down in the middle of the GTD field, and look at him. Look at him. He's now
look at
second
you.
in second place, and it might be a big gap between him and Gutierrez. But if you think about how Nick's race unfolded, you have to give it to the guy. This is driver of the day for sure.
Indeed, and I wish I could say a prayer to uncurse if we ever. We don't want to curse the man, but he is. He's. I'm just gonna say he did whatever. He did really good today, and I don't know if he pitted yet. I'm gonna have to check on that as he gets a. I believe that's Carl Middleton. That
That
is.
is Carl Middleton. That is Carl Middleton. I think that is the leader.
Yeah, he was trying to get ahead of Nick Newcomb or make his way through it. Lewis Middleton sitting in the pit. I believe this is his final pit stop. A little bit too early, I would say, but maybe he's just going eco mode and saving all fuel. I'm not sure that's the way to do it, but nonetheless, we get to see what happened in the end. We see Bear Ericsson also sitting in a podium place, third place in a McLaren. So two McLarens right there we see from Patterson and Barrett Ericsson. They're actually very close, 1.7 seconds, so they're very close, and a fight could start anytime soon.
Johnny Gutierrez in the pit lane. Johnny Gutierrez in the pit lane. That's the leader in GTD field. Nick Newcomb will have to get on it to try and cut the gap down. Gutierrez emerges very close to Nick, though. I think Nick has very little to no chance of getting a win out of this if Gutierrez keeps the pace this way. That's, of course, without contacts.
I mean, we get to see flashback of last race because last race, Nick Newcomb, all he had to do was protect himself from Gutierrez, but unfortunately Gutierrez just went all out and could they get that position from him. So very fortunate for Gutierrez, but very unfortunate for Nick Newcomb. Now we get to see what he's gonna do in a similar position, but this time he's on very old tires, and Gutierrez is on a very fresh tires. And I want to know what you think of that livery, Lorenzo.
I think this livery comes from Deuces Motorsports, which is Nick's primary team. Of course, a very successful pro sim racing team in championship like Global Endurance Championship. And this livery was inspired by the merging of Deuces and EITHAR, which is a little collaboration that we have going on between us and Nick's team. It's great having Nick on the team because it gives you an insight on higher level sim racing. But yeah, it's been a fruitful companion for us, and we wish to work with him some more in the future.
As he sits in a provisional first position, waiting for him to pit down, Gutierrez is still behind him as traffic are going left and right. Gutierrez, ooh, look at him going sideways there. I think fresh tires are actually not really a great thing to have. So you get to enjoy them in the middle where they settle in at a temperature you used to. But when the temperature is building up, it's not that easy to predict, as we see a fight happening right now for P4. Pasha Patterson fighting Barrett. Or sorry, that's actually, I believe he was unlapping himself. Oh, it is a battle indeed. Pasha Patterson lost the position there from Tempera. Tempera making his way after that mistake that happened right here in this corner we're watching right now. Steadily making his place as Nick Newcomb in the pit. Finally, Nick Newcomb decides to pit, so let's see how this is going to put him out. I believe it's going to be behind Tempera or Patterson. Somewhere between that, unless he makes a super fast pit stop, which he has to back out a
Oh,
little
he
bit.
lost a bit of ground there because he overshoot the pit entry.
Yeah, you know what had me thinking, Lorenzo? You see Top Gun where the planes are landing on the carrier and they have that thing that sticks to the. I wish there was something
Yeah,
like that, so it bounces you back. Get over here, you know.
yeah.
Definitely.
Some cables, some
Yeah, yeah,
high performance steel cables.
yeah. Unfortunately,
That
that's
would
not the
probably
case.
torn up your car, though.
Yeah, it will. It will. I mean, what are you gonna stick it to? The bumper? Yeah. But Nick Newcomb, unluckily, doesn't have that feature. Goes back once again. I think he forgot to shift up, so he
Yeah,
left it on.
he left it on reverse. Yeah,
He did. He did. Kind of funny, I would say. But hopefully, it didn't take much time from him. So, where this puts him? It puts him actually in P4. Great position for Nick Newcomb, isn't it, Lorenzo?
absolutely. And of course, that's a very safe. That's a rather safe P4 because he has made the pit stop. Rizzo is yet to go into the pit lane, so Nick Newcomb effectively in P4.
Very astonishing results from Nick. I mean, to go all the way up. I mean, you could argue he took the benefit from the DNF, but still, you can't take away from the man that did a great job up till
Yeah, but
now.
that's merit. You know that's a merit that you have to give to the guys that survive.
Absolutely, for
Bart
sure.
Eriksson in second place. That's the first time in a very long time that we have seen Barrett this competitive on the McLaren. I was giving, I was throwing stuff at the McLaren before, saying it was not the most competitive car, but you can see that the driver still makes a difference.
Yeah, and here goes Paulo Tempera, trying to prove your point, maybe, Lorenzo. He wants to take that McLaren out of that position. I was going to say out of the race, but that's not very
As
nice.
we get at I don't know how many we have got, but there was another yellow flag in sector one. I think that
Uh,
might have been Robin Taylor. That's Robin Taylor DNFing. Robin Taylor on the Callaway.
it
Yeah,
is.
there you
It
go.
is. Oh my God. What happened, though?
No, he just stopped on the track, I think.
Well, did he run out of fuel?
Yeah, some kind of issue. You look
Yeah.
now outside of turn one, he just turns to the right, to the left, sorry, and just stops on the track. Look at this.
Wow, very weird. What happened? It could have been run out of fuel. But it was like it looked like an urgent stop.
Yeah, it did.
Hopefully everything is all right.
Yeah, hopefully nothing too serious.
And Tempera is getting closer and closer now. Less than half a second to Barrett Ericsson. Let's see how. I think he's very close. He could make the move anytime, but Barrett Ericsson is having fun with that position. I don't think he's gonna let it go that easily.
No, I don't think he is, but the Ferrari looks to be very, very quick indeed. We are watching the wrong Ferrari, by the way. This is Filippo Cogolo in
Yeah,
P8.
it's a different Ferrari. The Ferrari you need to watch is this one right here. Fighting with Barrett Ericsson. Ericsson doing a great job. It could be a curse, but I mean, what am I gonna do? Say he's doing a bad job? He's doing a great job. Look at the man. Been a fan of. He won 2 races in a row. I'm a fan. I don't care. Had to go a little bit biased there. I mean, big fan of Barrett Ericsson. Actually knew him for a very long time. I believe since 2013. Been racing with the guy in multiple sim games. So he's a great dude. He's a great guy. He definitely deserves a great results today. I don't think he knows me, which makes it even better.
Probably doesn't remember you, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
if you told him about the early days of Race to Play and whatnot, he will remember.
He was actually in Race Connect where I met Will. He was there, so Will knows him too. He's a. We've known him for a while, sure. I don't think he remembers us because, yeah, man is a legend. You
Let's
the one.
let's go let's go on board with Paulo Tempera as a 3 wide into turn two. Tempera goes
Oh my
wide. He needs to be
lord!
careful. There might be contact. Wyatt Erickson was smart enough to slow down. and let the Ferrari go to avoid any crashes. Of course, Ericsson savaging good points in P3 right now, but Tempera needs to give that position back uh, if he has integrity, because that was unfair. 30 minutes left into the race. So many things have happened. If you guys are joining right now, we have lost the pole position. Uh, the pole position car for LMP2 being Ricardo Riva, and also a very competitive pilot in the name of Tony Talvice. Paulo Rodriguez also DNF'd. He was actually the first DNF of the race. He DNF'd in lap 1 after a drive-through penalty for jump start. In GTD class, we lost many cars due to a few accidents that happened on the racetrack. Robin Taylor being the last one. Lorne Martin spun in turn 1 and collected damage from Ricardo Riva's LMP2 car. Nicola Puccino, Kyle Graff, and Edward Jones all DNF'd at the same time because Kyle, for an unknown reason, stopped on the track after turn 6, and Nicola couldn't avoid, and Ed Jones didn't as well. So yeah, a lot of action, a lot of drama, high adrenaline. This is Sim Racing Online for you guys.
I mean, if you go ahead and tell Gutierrez, "Hey, let me tell you what happened when you were leading," he would say like, "What?" His jaw is gonna drop. Like he's be like, "I've been leading the whole race. I don't know what you guys are talking about. This is great. This race was great." And then you turn around and you see a couple of angry, mad drivers shouting and, "No, you did that." And this man proves that he's on a league of his own right now, leading the class, doing what he does best, and that is winning. And you know what, Lorenzo? I've been thinking of a track, Mosport, that I don't know if you're interested in. It's a track I've really loved, actually driven on Aston Martin GT1 there. And it's been a great track, and we have it on the calendar. It's a lot of cars we have it. A lot of, sorry, a lot of cars, a lot of tracks we have that you gotta hopefully be here to see. Talking to the viewers now, it's really fun that I want you guys to see as we see flashing lights there to John Gutierrez, which I'm sure he's got full awareness of what's going on around him.
Yeah, Mosport is a track that we haven't been on in Sim Racing Online, but it's a very famous old school track located in Canada. Um, it was used for many years in prototype racing. It was sadly remembered for taking Manfred Winkelhock's life in 1985 in a very bad accident. But yeah, it's a very challenging track, featured in most of the IMSA series seasons, all the way from I think the 1980s, pretty much. Um, I remember Jackie Eakes setting the lap record back then in what was a Porsche 956, if I remember correctly. It's a great track, and I can't wait to be there. Of course, we have a nice calendar. Uh, Mosport is round 4, so it's gonna be in about a month from now. Next race is Watkins Glen, another great track located in New York State. Very challenging, very technical track. A lot of downhill and uphill section, tricky braking zones, and of course the surprise element that IMSA always brings to the table. I cannot wait for the next race.
And so do I. It's gonna be fun indeed, and yeah, you don't want to miss that out for sure. So far, a race that actually I would say went through my expectation. It delivered in terms of DNF, funny enough, and in terms of racing. We've got so many racing, and we're not even done yet. We're still within this race. I believe we have about 20 minutes to go. We're about to cross that with 25 minutes now, and it's delivering so far. We started with 25 cars, and we're down to 16 cars. We lost so many warriors, fierce warriors. One that had a did it. One that actually didn't participate in the issue, and one that were the issue. So, yeah, it's a weird race that has its own storyline that we want you guys to enjoy it and be part of it. All of it will be stored in the YouTube channel of Sim Racing Online, so make sure to check that out.
We are watching Michele Rizzo then, one of the survivors in the GT3 field, currently running in a very good position as well. I wonder why many guys chose to. I mean, I wonder what differences were in the setup of these cars today, because we have seen many different gaps between one another. A lot of different cars, of course. Johnny Gutierrez in the Mercedes, Paulo Tempera in the Ferrari, Barrett Ericsson in the McLaren, Nick Newcomb in the Porsche, and then another Mercedes in the order. So it's 4 different cars in the first 5 races. So first 5 drivers. Sorry. Very weird.
Yeah, indeed. And guess what, Lorenzo? I found a very old picture of me and Bear Ericsson that I took in 2017, where we had a race in GTLM, and he was driving a Ferrari. Funny enough, now he's switched to a McLaren, and I was driving a Corvette C7. It's a car that is not being used right now. I kind of miss. It's been replaced by the C8, but some of memories I had with Bear Ericsson for sure. Nonetheless, Carl Middleton still leading this race. The Middleton brothers, one of them is sitting right now P5, lost a lot of time, weirdly. And I think he made a mistake on his own, we saw earlier, which led him to lose that much time. So puts Carl Middleton in a relief, who's now a lap ahead of Tanner Selby. So all he got to do is bring that car home. As he's getting closer to, I believe, Paulo Tempera right there. Or it could be Cogolo, because he's well running Ferrari. Goes to his side, steadily enough to gets that corner. Nothing happens, as it should be.
That's pretty rare for this race.
Indeed.
Michele Rizzo then half a second behind Nick Newcomb. They are really close together.
Yeah, Nick Newcomb now, as Barrett Ericsson goes to the pit, so he will lose that position, eventually giving it to Nick Newcomb, who will sit on an actual real podium right now. It's not provisional, it is real podium. 16 seconds behind Paulo Tempera, as we see a car go in rally mode there. Not sure
who was that. That's a McLaren. That's Andreas Seibel, I think.
Could be Andreas Seibel indeed. It is Andreas Seibel. Or that's Michael. Wow, we're getting confusion. We're getting replay, actually, not a confusion, to see what happened to Michael Rizzo. Or...
yeah, a bit of confusion there, I think, but oh, there we go. That was another Factor 2 moment. That was a lack of downforce moment. Certified.
I mean,
certified lack of downforce.
that's what you get.
This game never disappoints us. We get a yellow flag in Sector 2. Not sure why that is, but the yellow flag was waved in second sector. As we are watching Nick Newcomb's try to contain the speed, the sheer speed of Michele Rizzo. I want to get on board with Rizzo to see the difference between his lines and Nick Newcomb's. Thank you very much, Sam. Let's keep the bonnet cam, please. That's the clearer view. Looks like, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Michael Rizzo is definitely hunting down.
The Porsche looks untidy on the curbs. The Mercedes is so much more stable.
Yeah, Nick realizes there and goes to protect, which it was great solution. Also was giving the way for the LMP, so eventually he had to protect. But he comes the long straight.
And the Mercedes also got a better exit from turn 8. I wonder how powerful the slipstream is between these two cars. Looks like Nick Newcomb might just be able to protect himself as he did in Daytona with the Porsche stretching the gap into the straight.
Yeah, look at that. The split stream is not even effective. The Porsche is actually doing the reverse, selling all the way further ahead. But when it comes to the corners, Maka Rizzo gets closer once again to that bumper of Nick Newcomb. Look at that. It doesn't have enough downforce to even get that corner right. Yeah, you see he's putting a lot of pressure on those tires. He can't get close to the apex and nail the corner, but he's doing his best to keep that car as fast as possible. Look at that, getting all the way to the outside of the car. Macarizo realizes that, but doesn't have enough track room. Actually made him lose position, which is very good to Nick Newcomb as they go up. This is the place where Nick Newcomb suffers a lot. Look at that. It happens before. He needs to cover here, otherwise he'll be in jeopardy. But he doesn't realize that he has to protect, but still squeezes there. Very dangerous as an LMP car goes around and hits Nick Newcomb. Nick Newcomb again, still leading. Oh no, he side by side actually loses the position. Oh my God, Lauren. Look at him flashing the
What
lights.
a race, guys.
Lord, he was flashing his lights
And
up.
that is surely gonna be probably the end of the battle for Nick, unless the Porsche can on Nick's car, but that will not help him for sure in the purpose of containing Rizzo and getting that podium. That is crucial in GTD class.
I mean, that LMP like slammed to his side. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't get shot down. Did you see that, Lauren? It slammed to his door.
Yeah, it was a complete side hit to the left door of the Porsche. I wonder why the LMP2 didn't wait until the straight to make the pass, because there was no hurry to get, to dispatch these two cars. So not
Oh
sure why that is.
no.
And Nick Newcomb only just avoiding the wall out of turn 6.
Yeah, I told you that corner is the weak spot for Nick Newcomb. I believe the car or the setup he's running is just not right for him to get that corner right. But other than that, he's doing really well on other part of the circuit. But when it comes to that corner, it's a very difficult corner. A matter of fact, you could make a whole setup just for that corner and then realizes it's not good enough for the whole track. So that goes to prove that that corner is very hard to make. It's an uphill turn, and that's very hard to get it right. The most similar one, it could be one from Imola, but the one on Imola, you go down, then you go up. So you get a little bit of you relieve that stress on the tires. But when it comes to this one, the stress is still up there while you're turning, while going uphill. It's very, very hard to get it right. So, yeah, Lorenzo, I believe Nick Newcomb doesn't have that car, I would say, setup. I believe the car too is playing a fact, but I believe the setup isn't just made to fight. I believe it's made to protect more than to fight. It's a defend. I would say more a defend. I don't know how to call it, to be honest.
I
But
would
yeah,
say it's a setup that highlights the top speed of the car and sacrifices the downforce and the traction as well, which is a crucial point here at Road Atlanta, because yeah, you do have a long straight and the track is generally fast. However, um, you need to get the traction right out of turn 6 especially, and you need a stable car all the way from turn 1 to turn 5, because of course we can watch Paulo Tempera and I'll explain to you what I mean. You see, this is a high end corner, then you go down the hill, but here you have a heavy braking zone. Curb, another downhill section at high speed, then heavy braking, and we see Carl Middleton in the pit lane. I was speaking about the Ferrari, and Sam decided to go his own way, but whatever. You have high braking zone and heavy wear on the front brakes, so you need a very balanced setup. You just cannot, uh, overshoot the top speed, because unlike Daytona, you do not have 1 mile straight. You have a technical first sector and even more technical second sector. And the only place where you can just maximize the top end of the car is here. But then you have a heavy braking zone again and a high downforce demanding last corner. So tricky to get the setup right for sure, but that's a thing you need to work on as a driver.
Absolutely. That's straight information for any driver or somebody who's watching to work on, because we're not speaking from void. We're speaking from actual experience, and that is not just us trying to prove a point, but just speaking from experience of what happened. And Lorenzo knows what I'm talking about precisely. And indeed, a great setup makes a great car, makes a great driver as well. So a good driver cannot drive a bad car. It needs a good car to get it right, unless everybody else is driving the same car. As Michael Labelle, once again in the pits in a very late stage, Michael Labelle has nothing to lose. He's been steadily improving, Lorenzo, don't you think?
He has, and the LMP2 is not the easiest car to get around. So that proves that if you put enough practice, you can improve. And it might seem like Michael Lavelle is just gonna finish the race in last place, but you have to think about the fact that he has survived all the mayhem that happened in this 93 minutes event. Tony Talvice and Ricardo Riva, much more experienced drivers, especially Tony, didn't manage to do that. So kudos to Michael.
And the Silva as well, right ahead actually of Labelle. The Silva
Yeah, and
and
putting pressure on Lewis Middleton effectively.
yeah, indeed, that's very good to see that the drivers are improving, and I respect the fact that they go on a higher class of a difficult car to drive, and you gotta respect that when they like you put your mind on something, you get to realize it sooner or later.
And I was noticing that Paulo Tempera, if he manages to keep this second position, is gonna become, he's gonna go up into second place in the general classification of the GT3 field. Because he came in P3 at Daytona. He finished the race P3. And
Yeah,
finishing 2 places ahead Nick Newcomb here would grant him second place, of course, behind Johnny Gutierrez.
ultimately, because Nick Newcomb now is not in. He was sitting in P3, so had he finished in P3, he would have been tied with Tempera. If that's correct.
That is correct.
Well, but I will believe Nick Newcomb gets to keep the P2 because he was the one to get there first. At least that's how racing works, right?
It would have been like that, but Michele Rizzo's presence in third place right now avoids that scenario.
Indeed. Bear Eriksson sits in the top 5. Not too shabby for Bear Eriksson. Patterson? Have we seen that name before, Lorenzo?
I did see him in round 1 here at Daytona. That was the first time. So he's effectively a rookie in this series.
A rookie that is actually finishing a race where too many DNF, like you said, Lorenzo.
Yeah, that's that once again proves to be one of the factors. If you survive, you might finish way ahead from where you started. And we saw Bart Eriksson being second at some stage. And that proves what I'm saying, because Bart was on the back foot in qualifying. He did not have a good result during the practice as well. So that tells you that the cards will get mixed up during the race. Oh, and Tempera heavily into the wall.
Oh my lord!
No, who was that? That maybe was Filippo Cogolo then. That's one of the Ferraris
It
into
is?
the wall.
Oh
Yeah,
wow!
it's Cogolo. That's a
Oh, that
DNF for
scared
sure.
me. That scared me. Car looks to be running. Didn't lose a tire. Maybe he could
Yeah, but
make.
he lost the rear wing. Unless he makes it to the pits, he's now outside of turn 6, so that's more than half a lap.
Look at the car, undrivable.
Yeah, the steering column is bent for sure.
Look at
Yeah,
him.
there you go. Ooh, he needs to
Oh
be
no!
careful. He
Oh
needs
my
to be
lord!
careful.
Whoa!
Ooh.
Look at that!
Oh my god.
Holy!
That was very, very close indeed. Too close for comfort.
And once again,
And the black. Oh, he kept it out of the wall. Look at that for a
yeah.
piece of driving.
I mean, and he did it
Lila
classy way.
Silva. Lila Silva burning the tires out to keep the Ligier out of the barrier. That was quite remarkable. But nonetheless, Filippo Cogolo is still in the classification.
Yeah,
I don't think he has DNF yet. I think he's stationary on the track though.
he might lump his way back to the pit lane, but that's going to be very difficult and very dangerous.
That is, and that's only for P9.
Well, he could settle for driving on the grass, but that's also dangerous because you could lose the car at any moment. The Silva, again. I would believe I saw that livery that he probably made for his car, but it's very familiar, the livery he's running. It's very black, very darkish. There's like spider theme. Very interesting to see what Silva is running with. I wish I could see. Oh, there you go. A little bit. It's like a graffiti thing. I don't know. Could be mistaken.
Very characteristic style in the liveries from Gilles da Silva. We have seen many designs from him in the past. Then we see Filippo Cogolo then.
Wow, surprisingly.
He's coming to the pit lane. You have to admire that.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
The Ferrari limping into
Look
the
at
pit lane.
He almost lost control there.
Oh, yeah, he hit the wall as well.
Holy, I wonder how much time. I mean, we have 8 minutes. I mean, probably gonna
I
spend
think
most of that.
he's gonna spend at least half of that into the pit lane. I'm pretty sure.
Wow. Well, it's
That's gonna grant him P9. Kudos to him for the hustle.
I would say 07 in the chat, but yeah.
Rob Millikan then with that beautiful livery on the BMW M4. He's the best M4 of the field today because the other two, being Nicola Puccino and Riccardo Zampatti, DNF'd early in the race as we get a yellow flag in Sector 1.
And may I ask you, Lorenzo, are you familiar with the name of Iltris Tomietitore?
Oh, Iltris Tomietitore, yes, it is.
Yeah,
that's Ricardo Riva.
Wow, so he's the one who he actually subscribed again for 10 months in a row. Appreciate that.
Yeah, well, thank you, Ricardo. Of course, you don't have to do that because you're a driver, but thank you.
And we see a stationary car, or am I seeing double vision? That is Andreas Seibel, right?
That is Andreas Seibel, stationary in Sector 2, and that was the reason for the yellow flag.
Wow, I wondered what happened, and wow, so who's flying? That's Gutierrez, right? That is Gutierrez. It's the only Mercedes.
Is Gutierrez.
Or not? No, that we have two Mercedes, surprisingly. Because, yeah, the Gutierrez is running the full white, so the full black could be Rizzo.
That's Michele Rizzo is on the yellow Mercedes, and the white Mercedes is Johnny Gutierrez.
And Filippo Cogolo joins the track again after a long pit stop. Luckily enough, we still have that yellow in Sector 1. Look at Seibel sitting there.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's making a phone call or went to the bathroom, but he's still sitting there, not doing anything.
Yeah, that plays into the hands of Cogolo, which he's gonna gain a place after.
Yeah.
So that is great. Cogolo with the hustle play, going back into the pit lane, basically half a car, and then making an overtake on the track effectively on Andreas Seibel.
Yeah, there you go, kids. Never give up.
Yeah. we're gonna have constant yellow flag in sector 1 because
there
there's a stationary McLaren outside of turn 1.
it is. So hopefully it doesn't distract other drivers because it's looking the other way around. It's kind of scary when you see a car looking the other way. We see Michael Rizzo glowing brakes. The tires are very loose. I see drivers, especially going to that straight, they lose the back so easily. And it proves that these cars are not easy to drive with the very worn tires. Rizzo gets to turn 1, where we lost mini warriors once again. Hits that apex. Carl Middleton, the leader of the race, again goes through turn 1 with a lot of scrapes. Gets to that apex, attacks it, steadily goes down and up again. While Lewis Middleton is going to the pit, or that could be a bug, or maybe it is a real pit. Seibel sitting there watching the race. I believe he's no longer a driver.
He has got the best seat in the house.
I mean, it's feet on the floor. I mean, that's a VIP NBA seat, I would say.
Yeah, you know in Spider-Man 3 when Bully Maguire comes back to the workplace and says, "I want a permanent job contract."
Yeah.
He sits to the boss's table and puts his feet up the table. Yeah, that's Cyber right now.
Yeah, I do. He's not asking, he's demanding. Oh my god. Tanner Selby, P2. This is a redemption for Tanner Selby because
this
last
is a
race.
Great redemption arc for Tanner Selby after the last dismal race, and I think he might get. I mean, who was the winner in LMP2 last time around? Tony Talvice, which will get close to no points in P8. Middleton in P1 will inherit 40 points, but Stelvey might just reach the leaderboards once again. This result.
Yeah, he might because effectively we lost Tony, so this might put him in the lead. You're right.
If not in the lead, Tanner will be effectively back into contention 100% for the championship.
Yeah, that's very good news for Selby. So even that he didn't win, he still got the championship lead, which is very good news for him. I'm not sure he realizes that, but maybe he saw that.
I don't think so, but let's keep an eye on him and hope that in these 2 minutes he will not collect any McLarens standing on the outside of the track.
Yeah. Got a VIP seat right now there.
As we see, this could get interesting. This is Johnny Gutierrez lapping Nick Newcomb.
Wow. I mean,
I'm pretty sure Nick Newcomb will not make it easy for Johnny to go by.
I mean, he's got a blue flag, so I believe 3 corners that you can fight. Ah, there you go.
Look at Nick.
Yeah. I think I mean, I would say that's fair. He gave him the position in one point.
I was joking. Nick is not the kind of driver who would
absolutely not.
Obstacle the leader of the race.
He wouldn't do shady things, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But let's see, Andreas Seibel, is he there?
He
is there. Well, I think he did. He chose a great position. You're right, Lorenzo.
Yeah, that's also a dangerous position, but if you like risk. I mean,
if you risk it till you make it.
So, Andreas Seibel will now be called Bully Maguire, effectively. As we are less than 1 minute away from the end of the race, I think this will not be the last lap. Well, it depends where Carl Middleton is, but...
I mean, yeah, it's Carl Middleton, this win. I mean, we remember that he got it early, him and his brother, and he just stayed there pretty much. He controlled the race after what happened to Ricardo. This win is going through the record, and it definitely will help. Obviously, it's not going to put him in the top of the lead because it's going to put Selby in the top of the championship. But it's still good results to have the points because eventually, if you know other drivers starts getting back in shape and getting those top position, you still have those positions to fight whatever driver that is behind you. Not to take away from Middleton, but it's just reality. I mean, he can win in many more races to go, so it's racing. You could get the pole, you could get everything right. So we are in the last lap. Car Middleton right now is going to the
Carl
start.
Middleton coming home with that beautiful red Orica comes home to win the second round of the IMSA series here on Sim Racing Online. Congratulations to him, because that was a flawless race from Carl Middleton.
Absolutely flawless. Congratulations to the man. And Gutierrez on his way as well to snatch and even extend his lead in the championship.
Absolutely, he will be a lot of points clear from everybody else, and this will give him enough room for mistake. Of course, we know Johnny is not prone to mistakes, but uh, this will give him a safety window for sure for the next 4 rounds. Johnny Gutierrez crosses the line right now to win in a dominant fashion, the second time in a row at Road Atlanta. What a way
What a
to
way to
put your
win.
name up. Oh, and there's a LMP2
Yeah,
car joining. That is Carl Middleton in victory lane, effectively.
indeed. I mean, he was celebrating. He was giving Andrea Seibel a run for his money. Look at that.
Paulo Tempera comes home in second place in GTD class for and consolidates his position in the standings, uh, overtaking Nick Newcomb by just a tiny bit of points. Michele Rizzo home P3 with a great survival mode race as we watch Filippo Cogolo, the MVP of the last 10 minutes, uh, get a P8. I don't know why the results always do this, but
Yeah, they get too excited at the end.
well, that is it for today's race. Uh, Carl Middleton wins the race by ton of Selby. Phil Brown comes home in P3. Andrew Harper in P4. Middleton in P5. And all the other cars DNF'd, unfortunately, in LMP2 class, um, which, which was a shame, of course, but um, a great race overall, with Michael Labelle and Gilles da Silva also coming home to finish the race. Uh, I would say I'm pretty satisfied with the race today. I did see some bad mistakes from many people. I mean, Kyle Graff, namely, with that weird stopping maneuver on the middle in the middle of the racetrack. Um, but yeah, overall, it was expected. The Road Atlanta is a very tricky circuit to race multi-class on, and yeah, it's racing, it's endurance racing, and I enjoyed today's race. What about you, Nas?
Absolutely did. It was like a storyline. It was a movie. It had its own plot, and we did not expect it. So that's what it makes it so great to witness it and watch it. And I definitely had fun, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next race. And there goes the result, Renzo, right at the end.
Next race then will be held at Watkins Glen Circuit in New York State. A very technical track with that beautiful S's section after turn one, then for a long straight, then the bus stop chicane, and then, of course, the other hairpins, high speed corners, long uh, sweeping S's, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a cracking race. I have to turn off my PC because it tells me there's a problem. Guys, I will be seeing you all in the next round. I let Nas finish the broadcast, and well, for me, it's today's it's the end. So bye everyone. I let Nas take it from there and enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
It's good always to have you with us, Lorenzo. We have someone who joined us, Nick Newcomb, who didn't get, I would say, didn't get the results he was expecting today, but I would say he's definitely still in the fight. What's your thoughts on that, Nick Newcomb?
Oh, just another one of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fighting for the podium, and then you get a stupid P2 driver who can't handle his car, thinks that he's on a car chase or something, getting chased by the police, can't even drive it, and then even on the last lap he dive bombs me. Why? Why? What
Yes.
on earth is the point of that?
From our perspective, it seems like the what we saw. I mean, we didn't see everything, but we saw that an LMP2 car spun and hit you on the side so hard that we were surprised you didn't get shunted from outside the track, and you eventually lost that position. What your plan, I believe, was to defend for it.
Yeah, we were on similar times. I think our tires were probably the same age as well, so it was just a case of if you got by, fair enough, you got by, but to to be ruined by a stupid move like that, it's just unbelievable. And if this guy gets away with it, um, I'll have to really think hard in my future because he's lucky that he only hit me. He could have taken the pair of us out. I don't know if he hit Rizzo or not, but he
He
could
did
have.
not. No, he
He
did
could
not.
exactly could have hit the pair of us and ruined two people's races by a stupid move like that.
Yeah, I
Absolutely
mean,
pathetic.
well, I was gonna say, Nick, that you're probably not the only Furious driver because if you see the DNFs, so many DNF. We started 25 cars, we ended with 16 cars.
Yeah,
So many
because I've
DNF.
seen so many stupid moves. It was just crazy. The top of turn 5 was just mental. Like, and some of the moves going into the S's was just plain stupid. Absolutely plain stupid. The GT3 is a heavy car and doesn't move as quick or as nimble as a LMP2 car. And as soon as these LMP2 drivers understand that point, then we might have better races and we might have a bigger grid finishing. But until that gets into the head, they'll, it'll just you'll just carry on having carnage. And at the top of turn 5, I saw so many messes up there. It was just car parts everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen cars literally stopping in the middle of the track and cars that couldn't hold to the brakes and had to roll back, making actually Ricardo lose a position for that. We saw another car who made, I believe, it was Paulo Tempera that was actually a part of that, but he wasn't the culprit for it. But so many mistakes, so many DNFs. Some of them were driver mistakes, some of them were just carnage happening out of nowhere. And yeah, it's been a mayhem, but it also had its own ups and downs. I believe that for you, especially Nick, you're going to be now right now sitting in P3 in the championship. You have Watkins Glen coming up your way. What are your what are your what are your plans for Watkins Glen? What are you coming through? What's the mindset?
Well, I'm away, so I'm not driving it. There's 2 races I'm missing, so and that's one of them.
Wow, well, that's very
Yeah,
unfortunate.
not to worry, but yeah, they can get away with that one. I just hope some of these drivers that caused a mess get penalties because they totally deserve it. For me, I'll keep trying to see what this car can do. Um,
So
but
you're
it's
sticking with the
quick.
Porsche.
No, I'm not changing. Anybody who
Okay,
does changes, it's wrong. You should start once you start with a car in a championship. You should have to keep it.
I respect that. Definitely. So you're going to be missing Watkins and Mo Sport.
No, I'm back for more sport.
Wow. Okay. Happy with that.
Yeah, I'm back for more sport.
Happy with
Um,
that.
yeah, car should be good for there. That's what I want to do. Watkins, I'll practice on Watkins because I'll probably use some of the data from that for more sport. But there's another track. Some of these P2 guys really need to understand what they're going to do. Because if they don't, more sport will be another Atlanta, I think.
Yeah, well, definitely there's a lot of work in to do in terms of the field. I mean, we're not going to name names to not make anybody angry, but you've seen it yourself, and we've seen it ourselves, and I believe improvements are coming the way. Obviously, when it comes to this stuff, with you playing with the People's Championship. It definitely very
Yeah,
unfortunate.
definitely. Yeah, you know what I mean. It ruined my race, but it could have completely destroyed a battle for the P3 on the podium. But as it was, Rizzo got it, so that's fair enough. I don't mind that because he was fighting hard with me, and it was clean again. You know what I mean? It's funny how some of the GT drivers can just like race nose to tail and be fine, but
Yeah.
the LMP2s can't. I just think there's a difference in their mentality.
Well, definitely, like I said, there's improvements there. It seems like the GTD class is having a little bit of a fair. I mean, we can't say that it's balanced, but I would say there's a lot of there's a work to do there in terms of drivers and other stuff. But nonetheless, it was a great race. We thank you, Nick, for joining
Definitely.
us as always.
Yep.
You provide us with very good insights that leads and shows a vision of what happens within the race. You are always welcome to join us, and it's definitely great. It's always great to have you with us, Nick. Thank you very much.
No problem, guys. Well done again. I'm gonna watch that incident again on stream and in the replay.
Yeah, well, you
Get
get
my
to
timestamp.
yeah get everything right before you make that report, and yeah, it's gonna be in the VOD, but soon it's gonna be in the YouTube channel. That takes time, so you could check it out on the Ether channel.
Yeah, yeah, no problem.
Indeed. Well, we appreciate you, Nick, and yeah, appreciate everybody who watched. Once again, thank you for Sim Racing Online for the providing this championship, for providing us the opportunity to bring you this race. Once again, if you'd like to have take part in this race, go ahead and simracingonline.co.uk, make an account, and come race yourself. All you have to do is buy the mod, which is the cars, and all the tracks are free completely. Other than that, you can watch this race in the YouTube channel of SimRacing Online. Every race with it is stored there, so go ahead and check them out. Make sure you subscribe there. And last but not least, join our Discord. We have so many great things here. We have a Fiverr where we make liveries for a very great price and special price for SimRacing Online drivers. Go ahead, check that out, choose a livery for yourself, and come join us in the race. Thank you very much. We will see you again very soon in 2 weeks in Watkins Glen. Goodbye for now.